Chapter 2797. Book 1 ch 242. This deal seemed to be a good one. The bronze shard was useless to her anyway. If her daughter could comprehend 3 supreme sword intents, it would be of great help to her daughter. However, the heavenly sword did not want to do this, and she smiled as she said, "Call the master of 10,000 swords over. If he wants a bronze shard, he can come personally." The sword girl asked, "Mother, do you agree to the trade?" Heavenly Sword smiled and said, "No, but I have my own plans." The female sword girl nodded and said, "Then I'll call him over now. He's waiting in a city next to the sword ground." The heavenly sword nodded and smiled as she said, "I also want to personally meet the master of 10,000 swords." Jian found Zhao Fu in the inn. Zhao Fu asked, "Did you bring the bronze fragment?" The female sword girl shook her head. "My mother said you should go by yourself." Zhao Fu frowned as he looked at Jian and asked, "If I go, I'll be able to obtain the bronze shard?" Jian replied, "I don't know, but I think we should be able to obtain it easily because the bronze shard is useless to us." Zhao Fu thought for a moment. "All right, I can go with you." Jian gave a trace of a smile and said, "Come with me." They arrived at the fairy swordland. There were already a few beautiful women waiting in the hall. Apart from a heroic-looking Nu Tianjian, there's also a beautiful woman with a cold temperament called Nu Lung Han, a voluptuous woman called Nu Lu, a gentle-looking woman called Nu Xiao Ning, and a tall and beautiful woman with a delicate face called Concubine Mu. The last pair was a pair of sisters with seductive figures and pure temperaments. They were called First Lady Lian and Second Lady Ling. This was because they were all elders of the Angel Sword Land and wore white dresses. They gave off celestial auras and were as sharp as swords. The auras they gave off were also quite powerful, and none of them were lower than the higher being realm. Nu Lengan said in shock, "I never expected that the master of 10,000 swords would actually return to our world. News about him has already spread far and wide." Xiao Ning said with a smile, "I also want to meet this person. Now that he has grasped 3 supreme sword intents, he is known as the number 1 person in the Sword Dao." Nu Yu smiled and said, "I think Jian is quite suitable for him. Why not marry Jian to him? With his current conditions, no one would reject him. Most importantly, I heard that something happened between him and Jian. It seems that Jian made a bet to marry him." Imperial Concubine Mu chuckled and said, "Let's see how that person is first. We can't let Jian suffer." Woman 1 asked curiously, "Aren't you curious as to why he wants this bronze fragment? I heard that it's related to the origin race. Many people are collecting it." The heavenly sword said, "There is no point in leaving this thing with us. No matter what he does, the most important thing is the 3 supreme sword intents. That is why I called him here. If we can obtain any one of them, it will be incredibly beneficial to us." The 2 female spirits sweetly smiled and nodded. "Big Sister is still full of it. Those are the 3 strongest sword intents in the world. If we can comprehend some of them, not only will our strength increase, but we might even break through our current realms." At that moment, the sword heir brought Zhao Fu into the hall. Seeing that everyone was present, the sword heir smiled and called out, "Greetings, aunties." Zhao Fu also bowed and said, "Greetings, seniors." The beautiful women smiled and nodded, and their gazes fell on Zhao Fu's body. They felt that Zhao Fu was not simple at all, and they could not see through Zhao Fu at all. The sword heir walked to the center of the beautiful women. Zhao Fu said, "I came to ask for a bronze fragment in Senior's hands. I hope that Senior can give it to me." The sword heir smiled as she replied, "No problem, but you'll need to stay in the fairy sword ground for a few days." With Zhao Fu's status, the beautiful women naturally did not dare to forcefully snatch it. Moreover, even if they tried, they would not be able to obtain it, as the 3 supreme sword intents were not ordinary sword intents. As such, the beautiful women wanted Zhao Fu to stay for a few days and find a way to obtain it during this time. Zhao Fu thought for a moment before asking, "Will Senior really be able to obtain that bronze fragment by staying a few days?" The sword heir smiled as she said, "We won't lie to you. Zhao Fu continued to say, "Senior, please take out that bronze fragment and let me have a look." The sword heir smiled as she took out an ancient bronze fragment from her spatial ring and said, "Is this the one you're looking for?" Seeing this bronze fragment, the bronze fragment within Zhao Fu's body faintly sensed it, and he felt at ease. He smiled as he said, "I agree to stay for a few days." The sword heir lightly laughed as she said, "Sword heir, take him away. He's now our sword ground's esteemed guest, so take good care of him." The sword heir nodded and brought Zhao Fu away. After Zhao Fu left, the beautiful women once again started to discuss. Now that they had personally seen Zhao Fu, they had obtained some simple information. On the way, many women wearing white dresses with swords at their waists looked curiously at Zhao Fu walking beside the sword heir. They had heard that the Lord of 10,000 Swords had come here, and they felt quite curious about what kind of person the Lord of 10,000 Swords was. They greatly worshipped the Lord of 10,000 Swords' power. Zhao Fu smiled as he looked at the women around him. Some people could not hold back their excitement and cried out, "Lord of 10,000 Swords." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Seeing how gentle and easygoing Zhao Fu was, the women became even more excited, and the surroundings became even more lively. They asked Zhao Fu all sorts of questions, such as whether Zhao Fu could show them his power, why Zhao Fu was so powerful, what kind of people Zhao Fu liked, and what kind of comprehension Zhao Fu had towards the way of the sword. The sword heir frowned and said coldly, "Be quiet. He's now our fairy sword ground's esteemed guest." Only then did the women fall silent. After coming to an exquisite house, the sword heir said, "You can stay here for a few days. If there's anything, just call me." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. "Can I have a look around?" The fairy sword ground was a very powerful faction, and perhaps he would gain something here. So Zhao Fu wanted to have a look around. The sword heir thought of the women outside. If Zhao Fu wanted to walk around by himself, he would be split up by those women. So she replied, "I can take you around, but you can't go by yourself." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. After walking around, Zhao Fu indeed gained something. Zhao Fu came to a flat area made of stone, and there were beautiful fairies wearing white dresses and ribbons around their waists dancing in the air, giving off a formless sword energy. This was the fairy sword ground's cultivation ground, and cultivating here would become many times faster. However, it was useless to Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu was not interested in cultivating. This place was called the Fairy Sword Domain, and it was a powerful domain, which was what Zhao Fu was interested in. Chapter 2798. Book 1, Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu had already grasped a few major domains, and he was only 2 away from raising the evil immortal bloodline to stage 5. Only then would Zhao Fu be able to continue devouring various bloodlines. "How can I obtain your Davis sword domain?" Zhao Fu looked at the fairies in the sky and smiled as he asked. The sword heir asked in surprise, "You're very interested in our sword domain?" Zhao Fu smiled as he replied, The sword heir said, "You'll have to rely on your own comprehension. As long as you stay in the sword domain and cultivate, you'll be able to comprehend the Davis sword domain." Zhao Fu said, "I'll stay here and comprehend it." The sword heir looked at the women around her and said, "I'll wait here then." Zhao Fu asked, "Are you all right?" The sword heir replied, I also want to see how you comprehend our faction's Deva sword domain." Zhao Fu closed his eyes, and a formless perception spread out. The surrounding sword domain's power was drawn over, and traces of it flowed toward Zhao Fu. Within Zhao Fu's mind, a fairy was dancing with a sword. The sword heir looked at Zhao Fu from up close and could not help but smile. She felt that Zhao Fu was quite attractive and had a formless charm to him. Perhaps this was the charm of a genius in the way of the sword. Time gradually passed, and about an hour later, Zhao Fu opened his eyes in satisfaction. A formless sword energy spread out, and a fairy dancing with a sword appeared beside him. Because he had grasped the 10,000 Sword Legacy's power, this sword domain was quite easy for Zhao Fu to comprehend. The sword heir looked quite surprised. He grasped the Deva sword domain so quickly. looking at the fairy dancing with a sword next to Zhao Fu. Even though they were not as powerful as the fairy above them, it was indeed impossible for Zhao Fu to comprehend it in an hour. Zhao Fu said with a smile, "It's getting late. Let's go back." The swordswoman did not pay much attention to how quickly Zhao Fu had comprehended the celestial maiden's sword intent. Zhao Fu himself was an astonishing genius of the sword Dao, and she definitely could not compare to him. She gave a light grunt. Zhao Fu returned to the previous room, and the female Jian also left. Zhao Fu sat cross-legged on the bed, familiarizing himself with the power of the sword domain that he had just comprehended. At present, all he needed was a powerful domain to break through to the 5th level of the evil immortal stage. Thus, Zhao Fu had been waiting for quite some time. Not too long later, the heavenly sword walked in and smiled as she said, "I have something to talk to you about." Zhao Fu asked in confusion, "What's the matter, senior?" The heavenly sword took out a piece of black wood that was 1/2 foot long and 3 fingers wide. There were many sword runes on it, and she said, "Use your 3 supreme sword intents to fuse into this piece of wood." This was a piece of 10,000-year-old connate sword wood that had been nurtured by the heavens and earth. It was a very precious treasure, and it could absorb sword intents to grow. It could absorb sword intents no matter how powerful they were, and after absorbing sword intents, it would form a swordwood heart. This swordwood heart contained the source energy of absorbing sword intents, and the source energy of sword intents would become very gentle and anyone could absorb it. After much discussion, the beautiful women came up with this method, and they had specially obtained the 10,000-year-old sword rune wood to prevent it from being unable to withstand the 3 sword intents. Zhao Fu knew what the heavenly sword's goal was. It seemed that she wanted the 3 supreme sword intents, so he did not refuse. Zhao Fu stretched out a finger and pointed out, and the 3 sword intents turned into rays of light and shot into the piece of wood. Sensing how powerful the 3 sword intents were, the heavenly sword looked quite shocked. The black piece of sword rune would absorb Zhao Fu's sword intents, and the sword runes lit up. However, soon, the sword rune would shattered with a bang. The heavenly sword sighed and said, as expected from a supreme sword intent, "Even this 10,000-year-old sword rune wood cannot withstand it." The heavenly sword was about to leave in disappointment. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Senior, you want to obtain my 3 supreme sword intents? I have a way to give them to you." The heavenly sword said in delight, "What is it? If you give it to us directly, we do not have the ability to fuse with such a supreme sword intent, and it will instead be harmful to us." Zhao Fu smiled and explained the method. The heavenly sword felt somewhat hesitant. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Senior, don't worry. This method of mine is very gentle and can help you comprehend it. Otherwise, there would be no other way. This is a supreme sword intent, and not everyone can have it." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Senior, don't worry." The heavenly sword lightly nodded. In order to obtain the 3 supreme sword intents, everything was worth it. Zhao Fu went up and hugged the heavenly sword as they walked to the side. The next day, the heavenly sword faintly woke up in Zhao Fu's embrace. Thinking about what had happened the previous night, her face blushed. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Senior, I didn't lie to you, right?" The heavenly sword nodded. She had indeed grasped 3 extremely powerful sword intents. Even though they were very weak, they were of great help to her and allowed her to comprehend even more powerful sword intents. However, this method was not easy to accept. The heavenly sword blushed and said in a small voice, "Don't tell anyone about what happened between us." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded before asking, "There's one more thing I want to ask Senior." The heavenly sword said, "Go ahead." Zhao Fu said, "Senior, how did you obtain that bronze shard?" Zhao Fu not only wanted to obtain the beautiful woman, the heavenly sword, but he also wanted to obtain some information from her. Perhaps she also knew about other bronze shards. The heavenly sword asked curiously, "What do you want the bronze shard for?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I can't tell you that." The heavenly sword said softly, I didn't pay much attention to the bronze shard at first, but I heard that it's related to that child of origin. So many people started to pay attention to it. If it wasn't for the fact that you have a pure demon dragon bloodline, I would have suspected that you're that child of origin. Zhao Fu hugged the heavenly sword and smiled as he said, Senior, it's impossible for me to be that child of origin. Now that Zhao Fu could not control the heavenly sword, he definitely would not tell her his identity. The heavenly sword said with a slight smile, You've grasped these 3 supreme sword intents, so I don't think that you're any weaker than that child of origin. Right now, your cultivation is too low, so you need to continue cultivating. Zhao Fu nodded, I know. The heavenly sword continued to say, I obtained this bronze shard from the December merchant group. I heard that they still have a few pieces, but because of the child of origin, they're not selling them. I'm afraid that it will be very difficult for you to obtain them. December merchant group? Zhao Fu thought to himself. It seemed that he would have to go there in the future and obtain December's power. When cultivated to the extreme, December's power was an extremely powerful power. The heavenly sword said softly, Get up, it's getting late, and it's best that no one finds out about us. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Senior, I'll continue to help you comprehend sword intent tonight. The heavenly sword's face became red, and she softly nodded. Following this, the two of them got up. Not long after the heavenly sword left, the heavenly sword's heir came to find Zhao Fu. Yes, yes. Chapter 2799. Book 1, Chapter 244. Zhao Fu looked at the sword heir and smiled as he said, What is it? The sword heir said somewhat embarrassedly, I want to comprehend 3 of your supreme sword intents. Is that possible? The sword heir had made a deal with Zhao Fu that as long as she could obtain the bronze shard, Zhao Fu would help her comprehend 3 supreme sword intents. However, the sword heir had not obtained the bronze shard. Zhao Fu thought of the sword heir's mother and smiled as he said, How about I give you a trace of sword intent as well? The sword heir did not understand what Zhao Fu was talking about. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and pulled the sword heir into his embrace. The sword heir's face became slightly red, and she frantically struggled, but she was unable to break free from Zhao Fu's grasp. A few hours later, the sword heir's face was red as she hugged Zhao Fu's arm and gave a trace of smile as she said, I never thought that you would be so good-looking. The sword heir had been interested in Zhao Fu, and when Zhao Fu had wanted to take her, she had only struggled slightly before submitting to Zhao Fu. Now that she had become Zhao Fu's woman, she felt quite happy and did not feel angry. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, What did you think I would look like? The sword heir smiled as she said, I thought that you would have a ferocious face or a valiant face, but I never thought that you would look so perfect. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, I've given you a trace of sword intent, which is much better than your comprehension. You can rely on this trace of sword intent to become even more powerful. The sword heir smiled as she said, Thank you. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, You can rely on that trace of sword intent to cultivate. I want to continue to walk around the fairy sword ground. The sword heir smiled as she nodded. After Zhao Fu left the room, the sword heir returned to her residence. Within a secret room, the heavenly sword sat cross-legged on a circular stone platform. Her body gave off 3 rays of sword light, and she gave off a powerful sword aura, causing the air in the secret room to seem incredibly sharp. The other beautiful women sensed this energy ripple and came to this secret room. Looking at the female heaven sword sitting on the stage, they looked quite shocked. Imperial concubine Mu said in shock, Tianjin has already obtained those 3 supreme sword intents, and his power has greatly changed. Not only has he become much stronger, but he also gives us a very dangerous feeling. Nu Yu asked curiously, Didn't they say that the 10,000-year-old sword pattern couldn't withstand the 3 supreme sword intents? How did the sky sword obtain 3 supreme sword intents? The 2 female spirits said, I'm also curious. Looking at Heavenly Sword's rosy face and even more alluring aura, Heavenly Sword guessed something and gave a flirtatious smile. Nu Long said with a hint of envy, "This supreme sword intent is so strong. I really hope that we can also obtain this sword intent." Xiao Ning said, "Let's wait for Sky's sword to finish cultivating and ask her how she can obtain sword intent." The other women nodded. Nu Long smiled and walked to the side, wanting to verify her thoughts. The two female spirits asked, "Big sis, where are you going? Are you not going to wait for Heavenly Sword?" Nu Long smiled and said, "Little sister, come with me." The two female spirits nodded in confusion. Zhao Fu walked to the mountainside and heard that there was a fairy stone here, so he wanted to see what kind of stone it was. At that moment, Nu Long and the two female spirits found Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu bowed and said, "Greetings, senior." Nu Long looked at Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, "We came to find you for a reason." Zhao Fu asked, "What is it?" Nu Long smiled flirtatiously and said, "How did you give Heavenly Sword the supreme sword intent? Give it to us." Zhao Fu understood and smiled as he went up and hugged Nu Long. The two female spirits' faces became red and understood why Heavenly Sword had not told them how she had obtained the supreme sword intent. Seeing their big sister like this, the two female spirits also wanted to obtain the supreme sword intent, so they quickly joined in. 2 hours later, Nu Long's faces were red and she smiled as she left. They had obtained a trace of sword intent source and wanted to find a place to absorb and refine it just like Heavenly Sword. Zhao Fu gave a satisfied smile. The two beautiful women were quite enchanting. Zhao Fu looked towards the forest and said, "You can all come out." 4 or 5 women walked out with red faces. They had been cultivating here and had never thought that they would encounter their sex elder and Zhao Fu doing such a thing. They had never thought that the fairy-like elder would become like this. Zhao Fu looked at the women and found that they were all quite beautiful as he said, "Come here." The women looked at each other and walked towards Zhao Fu. They knew what was going to happen, but looking at Zhao Fu's perfect looks, domineering aura, and his identity as the Lord of 10,000 Swords, they could not refuse. Soon, it was nighttime and dozens of beautiful women lay by his side. A woman with an alluring aura smiled as she said, "Lord of 10,000 Swords, you're simply too enchanting. I like you so much, and even if I can't obtain anything, I want to be with you." Another beautiful woman smiled as she said, "Me too. I think I've fallen in love with you." A beautiful woman sighed. "It's a pity that our identities are too lowly and cannot be your women. It is our honor to be able to serve you." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Now that you've become my women, I won't mistreat you. There's some sword energy within your bodies, which will be very beneficial to you." Hearing this, the women sensed their bodies and looked delighted, and they immediately thanked Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "In the future, I might take you away to where I am, and I'll take good care of you." The women all gave happy smiles. The beautiful woman said emotionally, "Lord of 10,000 Swords, you're too good to us. We'll definitely serve you well in the future." The pure-looking woman said seriously, "In the future, I'll belong to the Lord of 10,000 Swords and will never let any other man touch me." The flirtatious-looking woman said, "Lord of 10,000 Swords, our sword land is also famous for our beauties, and there are many beautiful women here. Do you need us to call them over?" Zhao Fu felt that the women from the Sky Maiden Sword Land were all quite good and had a celestial aura, so he smiled and nodded. Following this, Zhao Fu followed the women to where they lived. It was a very large building complex, and the disciples with ordinary statuses would live together. The disciples with slightly higher statuses would have their own rooms, and the women with even higher statuses would have their own courtyards. Zhao Fu grinned as he entered. At that moment, female Heaven Sword slowly opened her eyes. She had only fused with traces of supreme sword intent, and her power had greatly increased. Female Heaven Sword gave a trace of a satisfied smile. Everything she had done had been worth it. Female Heaven Sword. Chapter 2800. Book 1. Chapter 245. Ning and the others walked in and sensed the powerful aura that the Heavenly Sword gave off. Nu Long said with a smile, Your power has increased by so much. It's so enviable. As expected from the power of the supreme sword intent. Nula looked at the heavenly sword, who had opened her eyes and said anxiously, Heavenly sword, hurry and tell us how you obtained the supreme sword intent. Also, why did you hide it from us? The heavenly sword thought about what had happened last night and blushed. I don't want to hide it from you, but in order to obtain the supreme sword intent, you need to have sex with the master of 10,000 swords. Hearing this, the women's faces blushed. Nu Ning asked shyly, Heavenly sword, did you really have sex with him? How did it feel? Now that things were clear, the heavenly sword calmly smiled and said, that feeling will make you fall. If you want to obtain the sword intent, you can go now. The women left out of curiosity and shyness. Following this, they sensed the changes in the sisters' power and understood that they had also had sex with Zhao Fu. They hesitated for a moment before going to Zhao Fu's room. However, Zhao Fu was not in the room, and they felt that this was quite strange. They sensed the sword ground and their bodies disappeared. They appeared in the sky and looked down at the chaotic scene in the garden, and their faces became red. This time, the Fairy Sword Land's reputation was going to be ruined by Zhao Fu. The Fairy Sword Land's women were all known for their purity, and their fairy-like auras attracted countless men's gazes. However, their otherworldly looks caused countless men to sigh. Zhao Fu's eyes lit up. The Heavenly Sword Land had let a wolf into the house. Nu Lu and the other side and left the garden before the people below discovered them. They planned to come and find Zhao Fu the next day. However, when they found Zhao Fu the next day, Zhao Fu was violating the Fairy Sword Land's disciples in a forest. The women could only leave. On the third day, Zhao Fu became even more unbridled and started to violate the Fairy Sword Land's disciples in the Fairy Sword Domain. They couldn't take it anymore, so they appeared and chased the disciples away. Then they called Zhao Fu to a hall. Zhao Fu smiled and said, May I know why the seniors are looking for me? Nu Lung glared at Zhao Fu and said somewhat angrily, You did such a thing in our Fairy Sword Land, and you still have the cheek to say that. Zhao Fu replied with a smile, Senior, this is a matter of mutual consent. You can't blame me. Nu Yu stared at Zhao Fu and said coldly, If you weren't the master of 10,000 swords, I would definitely teach you a lesson right now. Let's see if you still dare to act like this. Little Ning said, There's no need to say anything else. Give us a few supreme sword intents, and we won't pursue this matter. Then, please leave the Fairy Sword Land immediately. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. One day later, Zhao Fu looked at the beautiful women in his arms and said with a playful smile, I've given you guys a few supreme sword intents now. I'll leave immediately. Nu Lung rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. You should continue staying in the Fairy Sword Land for a few more days. Little Ning's face turned red. I don't object either, Zhao Fu said with a smile. Then I'll stay for 2 more days. The desolate ancient dragon race's young master selection is about to begin, so I still have to rush back. Female concubine Mu smiled and said, You're already the master of 10,000 swords, and your status isn't any lower than the desolate ancient dragon race's young master. Why do you still want to fight for that position? Most importantly, you're a genius in the Sword Dao. Becoming the dragon race's young master is a waste of your talent. Zhao Fu explained, I need the desolate ancient dragon race's legacy. Nu Long said, I heard that your race has a void dragon who has the support of the desolate ancient dragon star. Although you're a genius in the Sword Dao, without the desolate ancient dragon star, you'll be at a disadvantage in terms of dragon power. Are you confident in becoming the desolate ancient dragon race's young master? Zhao Fu said confidently, Of course. Nu Lung said with a smile, I believe in you. However, we need to refine and comprehend the supreme sword intents that you've given us, so we might not be able to watch your competition. Zhao Fu said without minding. At this moment, Little Ning said curiously, 3 supreme sword intents. 1 is the 10,000 sword intent, 1 is the evil sword intent, and what's the last one called? Zhao Fu said with a smile, I can't tell you. Little Ning said coquettishly, we've already had such a relationship with you, so we're also your women. Why aren't you willing to tell us? Nulung said softly, tell us. We really want to know. Zhao Fu said with a smile, this is my secret, so I really can't tell you. Seeing this, the women did not force him. Zhao Fu spent 2 days with the beautiful women and disciples, and he looked at Heavenly Sword in his embrace and said intimately, Heavenly Sword, can you give me the bronze shard now? Heavenly Sword took out the bronze shard and handed it to Zhao Fu as she asked, what do you need the bronze shard for? The other beautiful women also looked at Zhao Fu. Even though the bronze shard was useless to them, it was not an ordinary item. It was related to an origin artifact. Zhao Fu said with a slight smile, do you believe me if I say that I want to assemble an origin artifact? Little Ning lightly laughed. We don't believe you. You're not the legendary son of Origin. So how can you do it? Zhao Fu said with a smile. Then what do you want me to say? Even if I say it now, you won't believe me. Imperial concubine Mu said, we won't ask you anymore. After you become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master, you can return to the fairy sword land. Zhao Fu thought about it and said, I have things to take care of, so I might not return to the fairy sword land. Heavenly Sword asked, what else do you have to do? You're the master of 10,000 swords, and if you become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master, with these 2 terrifying identities and your shocking talent, you should find a place to properly cultivate. Soon, your power will surpass ours, and we can become your women. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, aren't you now? Heavenly Sword rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, I won't say that my man is a little Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator. Also, now that the fairy sword land has become your harem, I wonder where you got your abnormal abilities from. Zhao Fu laughed as he said, don't worry, I'll come back after I take care of things. If you become my women, I won't mistreat you. Heavenly Sword hugged Zhao Fu and lightly nodded. Zhao Fu grinned as he left the fairy sword land. The fairy sword land had made great gains this time, obtaining the fairy sword domain, the bronze shard, and enjoying many women. In the end, the fairy sword land's legacy power was not weak, but Zhao Fu did not absorb it because only women could obtain it. Even though Zhao Fu could use the 8 forbidden blood technique to become a woman, Zhao Fu could not accept that, so he gave up on the fairy sword land's legacy. After returning to the dragon territory, the desolate ancient dragon race's young master selection started. Chapter 28:01. Book 1, Chapter 246. Dragon Land within a massive, colorful cave, there were rows of stone steps, and countless people from the dragon race were sitting on them. Some of them had smiles on their faces, some looked excited, and some looked calm. It was quite lively and noisy all around them. In the middle of the cave was a flat ground with a majestic image of the dragon ancestor. It looked like it was alive and made people revere it. There was no ceiling, and it was an open-air cave. This was the birthplace of the desolate ancient dragon ancestor. The desolate ancient dragon ancestor was the first desolate ancient dragon to be born in the primal chaos world. His power was enough to shock humans and gods alike. His body had 11 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, ice, god, demon, and heaven. Becoming the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon race would allow one to obtain the desolate ancient dragon ancestor's legacy. This legacy contained 11 elements, and it was far more powerful than a single element. This was because it belonged to the dragon ancestor. It was said that the desolate ancient dragon ancestor had left the primal ancient dragon world with the origin race. No one knew where they went. It could be the celestial world or the bottomless ruins. The ancestral dragon cave was normally a forbidden area and would only be open during the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord selection. The method of selecting the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord selection was done from among the 11 young lords. If one wasn't the young lord of another young lord, they wouldn't have the right to go up. Of course, there were exceptions, and that was if one had the desolate ancient dragon ancestor's bloodline. Although the 11 young lords all had the desolate ancient dragon ancestor's bloodline, It was a weakened version of the bloodline. The true, desolate, ancient dragon ancestors' bloodline still had 11 elements. Right now, the bloodline closest to the dragon ancestors' bloodline was the heavenly dragon bloodline. Therefore, among the 11 bloodlines, the heavenly dragon bloodline was stronger than the other dragon races. It was a pity that no one had obtained the desolate ancient dragon ancestors' bloodline for many years, so it had gradually become a legend. The young master of the primordial wood dragons, Long Qing Hong, the young master of the primordial water dragons, Long Sui, the young master of the primordial thunder dragons, Long Lang, the young master of the primordial wind dragons, Long Feng, and the young master of the primordial divine dragons, Long Huiling. There was also a youth with a metal dragon horn on his head. He was the desolate ancient golden dragon young lord, and he was the of desolate ancient dragon young lord. This was the desolate ancient ice dragon's young mistress, and she was called Long Qifang. She had a cold expression and gave off an icy aura. There was a chubby, somewhat ugly young man wearing leather armor. He was the desolate ancient earth dragon's young lord, and his name was Long Toa. The last one was a beautiful woman with long, fiery hair and a fiery figure. She was the young mistress of the primordial fire dragon bloodline, and her name was Long Yini. Out of the 11 lineages, 9 of the young masters had arrived. Only the primordial sky dragon lineage was left. The young master of the primordial demonic dragon lineage had yet to arrive. These two people were the people that everyone was looking forward to the most. Long Lang, who was standing on the stage, frowned and said unhappily, "Those two are really arrogant. They still haven't come yet and are making us wait for them." Dragonwind said softly, "The two of them are the strongest competitors for the position of the desolate ancient dragon race's young master. Even if we don't wait for them, the elders of the various bloodlines will." Long Sui said, "I heard that the demon dragon race's young master has become a master of 10,000 swords, and his strength is world-shaking. I feel that we definitely won't be a match for him. It's a pity that we can only use dragon power in the ancestral dragon cave, or else he would definitely be this generation's young master." Long Tua said with a cold expression, "It's not that we don't have a chance. There are 9 of us while there are only 2 of them. If the 9 of us join forces, we might be able to defeat them. That way, the desolate ancient dragon race's young master will be born among the 9 of us." Hearing this, everyone started to hesitate. They were the young masters of the various dragon bloodlines and had prestigious statuses. Moreover, it would be quite embarrassing for so many people to join forces and attack 2 people. However, those 2 people's strength was too terrifying, and none of them had any hope of winning. Long Tua said, "Are you willing to be under them and take them as your masters?" Long Lang said, "I'll join. I don't like those 2 people, and this is a good opportunity to teach them a lesson." Dragonwind said, "Even though it's not very honorable, it doesn't break the rules. I'll also join." Long Sui also joined. Long Qinghong looked at Long Huiling and asked, "Huiling, what do you plan to do?" Long Huiling said calmly, "You don't need to think about me. You can make your own decision." Long Qinghong thought for a moment before saying, "I'll also join." He was not interested in the dragon race's young master, but now that they were united, perhaps there was a trace of a chance. That way, they could help Long Huiling. The desolate ancient fire dragon's young master, Long Yini, laughed as she said, "I'll also join." After thinking about it, Long Qifang, the descendant of the desolate ancient golden dragon's young master and the desolate ancient ice dragon's young master, decided to join as well. They knew how strong the other 2 people were, and they could not just watch as those 2 people became the desolate ancient dragon race's young masters. In the end, only Long Huiling did not join, and she stood there calmly. Long Tua asked, "Long Huiling, why don't you join? I remember that you've always been plotting to become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master." Long Huiling said softly, "I'm no longer interested in becoming the desolate ancient dragon race's young master. If it wasn't for the fact that the young master had to join, I would not have come." Her words caused everyone to feel quite surprised. Long Sui asked, I heard that you have a good relationship with the demon dragon race's young master. Did something happen between the two of you? Long Wheeling glanced at Long Sui. No, Long Lang said as he laughed. Now that we have 8 people, it's fine even if she's missing. Let's discuss how to deal with those 2 people. Long Toa nodded seriously. Everyone outside was also discussing fervently. Why isn't the demon dragon race's young master here yet? I like him too much. He's brought glory to our desolate ancient dragon race. He's the first person from the dragon race to become a master of 10,000 swords. I support Long Voidless. Even though that demon dragon race's young master is powerful, without the desolate ancient dragon star, he's clearly not as strong as Long Voidless. I also support Long Voidless. No one is his match in terms of dragon power. I don't think Long Voidless can do it. I think that the demon dragon race's young master is stronger, and he'll definitely become the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race. You guys stop fighting. I think that the other young masters also have some chances. Don't be so confident. That's right. I feel that the combined strength of the 9 young masters will definitely be more terrifying than the other 2. Who knows? One of the other 9 might become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master. I support Long Wheeling. She's simply too beautiful, and she's so powerful. Moreover, it seems that there are very few women among the desolate ancient dragon race's young masters. Many of the dragon race's higher-ups sat on the stone platform and were chatting and laughing. They were discussing the selection of the desolate ancient dragon race's young masters and who would become the next young master. The most popular ones were naturally Zhao Fu and Long Voidless. Chapter 28:02. Book 1, Chapter 247, Swish. A huge crystal-colored light descended from the sky, and the many crystals scattered. A handsome young man dressed in white appeared on the field. It was Void Dragon. Long Shiwu stood at his original position, emitting a dense dragon force. Just his aura alone was enough to suppress the other 9 bloodline young masters. This caused the expressions of the 9 bloodline young masters to change. On the viewing platform, many experts from the Dragon Clan were also shocked. This Long Shiwu's strength was many times stronger than before. It seemed like he had put in a lot of effort for the desolate ancient Dragon Clan's young master selection. Long Shiwu glanced at the other young masters before retracting his gaze. He only had one opponent, the Demon Dragon Clan's young master. Long Shiwu didn't care about the others. Anger appeared on Long Lang's face. Later on, we'll find him first. Let's see if he can still be so arrogant. Long Tua nodded solemnly. After a while, everyone became anxious. Now, only the Demon Dragon Clan's young master hadn't arrived. Long Yunyan called Long Xing over and asked, "Why isn't the young master back yet?" Long Xing replied, honestly, "The young master told us to return first. He will stay in Angel Sword Ground for a few days. When the young master selection begins, he will return by himself." Long Yunyan puffed up her cheeks. "I wonder what the young master is doing." Long Qin smiled and said, "There's no need to be so anxious. There's still some time before the young master selection begins. In a while, the young master should be back." After waiting for another 10 minutes, many experts on the viewing platform frowned. They had waited for far too long, and it was already time for the young master selection to begin. At this moment, a person wearing a cloak slowly floated down from the sky. The crowd immediately went into an uproar. This was the Demon Dragon Clan's young master, the person they had been waiting for a long time. Zhao Fu landed on the ground. Long Shiwu's eyes immediately turned to look at Zhao Fu. This was his first time seeing Zhao Fu. Based on his intuition, Zhao Fu was his greatest opponent. Long Shiwu felt some pressure in his heart. As for the other young lords of the 9 bloodlines, some of them had already met Zhao Fu, while others had never met Zhao Fu. However, they had all heard of the terrifying things Zhao Fu had done, and their faces grew very serious. The experts in the spectator stands all had smiles on their faces as they stared at Zhao Fu. When they heard that Zhao Fu had become the Lord of 10,000 Swords, they were filled with anticipation to meet Zhao Fu. And now, their wish was finally fulfilled. But what made them bewildered was that they couldn't see through Zhao Fu at all. They felt that Zhao Fu was extremely mysterious. With a confident smile, Zhao Fu faced everyone's gaze. An elder wearing a cloud robe came up and announced, "The young master's selection officially begins." Boom! An explosion sounded out as the entire dragon cave gave off countless rainbow-colored lights, and a massive wave of ancient dragon energy spread out. Countless dragon images appeared in the sky and circled around the dragon cave, giving off massive sounds. This wave of dragon energy covered a great distance, and the many experts in the 10,000 Swords City sensed this powerful dragon energy and understood that the desolate ancient dragon race's young master selection had begun. The abnormal signs gradually disappeared, and the ground started to tremble as square-shaped metal pillars slowly rose up from the ground. The square-shaped metal pillars were 100 meters tall and 10 meters wide. They were black and had 4 divine dragons imprinted on each side. There were also different marks of various sizes, most of which were dragon claw marks. The metal pillars were mainly used to test dragon energy, and only those with powerful dragon energy could participate in the selection. Boom! Long Lang clenched his fist, which gave off large amounts of violet lightning as he punched the metal pillar in front of him. Countless violet lightning bolts slammed into the metal pillar, causing sparks to shoot everywhere as a large crater appeared on the metal pillar. Seeing this scene, Long Lang gave a trace of a satisfied smile and retracted his fist. Long Lang was the first to act, and he immediately attracted everyone's gazes. Seeing him blast open such a large crater, everyone looked shocked. Long Lang was stronger than ordinary young lords. Long Spit vigorously slammed his palm against the metal pillar, and a powerful gale blew out as a 1-meter-long handprint appeared on the metal pillar. Long Spit usually looked quite low-key, but he was no weaker than Long Lang. The primordial ancient water dragon, young Lord Long Sui's arm, turned into a dragon claw, and he vigorously swung forwards, sending out 5 blue claw marks that grabbed at the metal pillar in front of him. The claw marks on the metal pillar were not deep, which meant that Long Sui's strength was only average. Everyone immediately lost interest in Long Sui. Long Sui's expression did not change. He was clear about his own strength, and he did not think that he could become the primordial ancient dragon young lord. He had joined everyone else's group because he felt that it would be safer and more beneficial. Pa! Long Feng's palm slammed against the metal pillar, causing a powerful gale to blow out. The metal pillar was cut open by a sharp gale, and a large crater appeared. This crater was slightly smaller than Long Lang's, so Long Feng's strength was also slightly lower than Long Lang's. Of course, that was if Long Feng did not hide his strength. Long Insignia looked at Zhao Fu and waved her hand, causing a powerful wave of dragon energy to imprint on the metal pillar, creating an ordinary mark that was similar to the one Long Sui had made. This could not be said to be weak, as this was a mark that she had casually made. Her strength was definitely not weaker than Long Lang's, and she might even be slightly stronger. Boom! Boom! Primordial Ancient Ice Dragon Young Lord Long Qifeng and Primordial Ancient Fire Dragon Young Lord Long Yinny attacked at the same time, punching the metal pillar with shocking power. A wave of cold air and hot air spread out, making everyone feel as if they were in a land of ice and fire. Both of them left a large mark, and their strength was also very strong. Long Shuwu looked at Zhao Fu, stretched out a finger, and lightly tapped on the metal pillar. Boom! A terrifying wave of dragon energy slammed into the metal pillar, causing it to directly shatter. Many fragments shot out with a powerful force. Everyone outside was shocked. Long Shuwu's strength was so terrifying that even the metal pillar could not withstand his strength. Long Shuwu was indeed a genius that only appeared once in 1,000 years. Many dragon race experts smiled. This Long Shuwu did not disappoint them. The expressions of the other young lords became slightly ugly. Now, Long Shuwu's strength was much more terrifying than theirs, and only by working together would they have a chance. This made them even more determined to work together. After Long Shuwu shattered the metal pillar, he looked at Zhao Fu, wanting to see how strong Zhao Fu was. Not only him, but countless people also looked at Zhao Fu, wanting to see how strong Zhao Fu was. Facing everyone's gazes, Zhao Fu casually waved his hand, and a black light hit the metal pillar, leaving an ordinary mark. Countless people were astonished. That's it. Seeing this, everyone was extremely disappointed. They had high hopes for Zhao Fu, and recently, they had been talking about him. But now, Zhao Fu was not serious at all and didn't take this matter to heart. However, no one thought that Zhao Fu was weak, because Zhao Fu had already become the master of all swords, and he even had 3 supreme sword intents. It was impossible for him to be weak. Chapter 28:03. Book 1. Chapter 248. Dragon Void retracted his gaze in disappointment. He wanted to see Zhao Fu's strength. Shattering the metal pillar was also a challenge to Zhao Fu, but Zhao Fu didn't accept it. Boom! An explosion sounded out, and countless colorful lights gathered in front of the young masters. A watermelon-sized crystal ball appeared. The crystal ball was called Dragon Blood Sphere, and it was used to test the bloodline of the dragon race. Long Lang was still the first. He placed his hand on the crystal ball, and a small purple dragon appeared in it. Its body was covered in lightning, and the purple light was getting stronger and stronger. Finally, the crystal ball stopped giving off a blinding purple light. This meant that Long Lang's bloodline was very high, and he was very strong. Looking at the scene before them, everyone revealed a shocked expression and began to discuss animatedly. This Long Lang looks quite strong. His bloodline is much stronger than ordinary young masters. Long Lang is one of the stronger ones. Long Lang's lightning dragon power is also very strong. I hope he will have a shocking performance. I have high hopes for Long Lang. It would be best if he becomes the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race. Long Lang enjoyed their respectful gazes and words. His personality was the same, or else he wouldn't be at the front every time. Dragon Insignia also placed her hand on the crystal ball, and a white dragon appeared in it. Countless white lights shone out, and the light was even stronger than Long Lang's. Everyone's eyes were quickly attracted by Dragon Insignia, and they started to discuss her. Seeing this, Long Lang was very unhappy. Long Hao and the others saw everyone talking about their young master and revealed surprised expressions. Their young master's bloodline and strength were both very strong. Dragon Insignia didn't want this, but the bloodline wasn't under her control and was sensed by the crystal ball. Long Sui also stretched out a hand, and a yellow dragon appeared in the crystal ball. Countless yellow lights shone out, and the light intensity was no weaker than Long Hao's. Long Sui also stretched out a hand, and a dragon formed from water appeared in the crystal ball. Countless blue lights shone out. The light intensity was no weaker than Long Sui's. Everyone revealed surprised expressions. They didn't expect Long Sui, the weakest among them, to have a bloodline as strong as Long Sui and Long Lang. Long Sui also didn't expect this. Looking at that piercing blue light, he revealed a surprised smile. Long Lang was unhappy in his heart. Why was his bloodline grade the same as Long Sui's? This was all thanks to Long Sui's parents. His parents' bloodline grade was very high, and as their son, Long Sui's inheritor, he didn't need to put in much effort to obtain such a high-grade bloodline. This was also an advantage. Long Feng stretched out a hand and placed it on the crystal ball. A dragon formed from wind appeared within the crystal ball, and countless rays of azure light shone out. The green light was bright but not intense, which meant that the dragon race's bloodline level was higher than that of the average dragon race's young master. Long Feng sighed. He didn't have Long Lang's talent, and his parents' bloodline level was average, so his bloodline level wasn't very high. Long Qinghong stretched out a hand and placed it on the crystal ball. A wooden dragon appeared within the crystal ball and gave off boundless green light. The light was not very bright, and it was about the same grade as Long Feng's bloodline. Long Qinghong was expressionless. He had already expected this, and this was also the reason why he didn't want to become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master. With such a bloodline level, It was almost impossible for him to become the dragon race's young master. Long Yinny stretched out a hand, and a fire dragon appeared within the crystal ball. Countless fiery lights emitted from it, and the light was intense. It was slightly weaker than Long Lang's, which meant that Long Yinny's bloodline level was only one grade lower than Long Lang's. Long Qifan's light was the same as Long Feng's, bright but not intense. His bloodline level was only slightly higher than that of the average dragon race's young master. Long Xiu placed his hand on the crystal ball, and a metal dragon appeared within the crystal ball. Countless rays of golden light shot out, and the light was dazzling. It was about the same as Long Lang's bloodline level. Long Xiu also slowly placed his hand on the crystal ball. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out, and a dragon formed from crystals appeared within the crystal ball. It gave off countless rays of dazzling light. It was like a small sun that illuminated the entire dragon ancestral cave. People couldn't open their eyes at all, and they had to use their hands to block it. Just the light from Long Xiu's crystal ball alone suppressed the other 9 young masters. Or rather, the other 9 young masters' bloodline levels added together couldn't compare to Long Xiu's. Long Xiu retracted his hand, and the light from the crystal ball gradually weakened. The crowd boiled up. The bloodline of the Sky Dragon bloodline is already relatively high, and Long Xiu also has the support of the desolate ancient dragon star. His bloodline level is shockingly high. Long Xiu's bloodline level is definitely the highest I have ever seen. The desolate ancient dragon star can greatly strengthen one's bloodline. I feel that Long Xiu's bloodline level is so high because of the desolate ancient dragon star. And even if he was an ordinary dragon with ordinary parents, it would be different if he had the desolate ancient dragon star. His bloodline would be purified by the dragon star. I feel that Long Xiu's bloodline is already very close to the dragon ancestors. If he obtains the inheritance of the dragon ancestor, will he be born with the dragon ancestor's bloodline? Now that I look at it, I feel that Long Xiu is definitely the desolate ancient dragon race's young master. No one can compare to him. Many of the experts' expressions did not change. They had already expected this and believed in Long Xiu's strength. In the end, everyone looked at Zhao Fu. Only he had not tested his bloodline. Zhao Fu hesitated because this test was not under his control. However, if he did not test, he would not be able to go through with the selection. Long Lang urged, "What are you waiting for? Quickly test your bloodline." Zhao Fu placed his hand on the crystal ball. Everyone stared at the crystal ball with wide eyes, wanted to see how high Zhao Fu's bloodline level was. The experts on the viewing platform became alert. They were also curious about Zhao Fu's bloodline level. As someone who had opened the 10,000 Sword Heart training for the 3rd time, his bloodline level should not be low. However, the crystal ball quietly floated in midair and did not change at all. Many people were stunned. What's going on? Why isn't the crystal ball reacting? Could it be that the crystal ball is broken? The experts on the viewing platform were also confused. The crystal ball would show all bloodline levels, so why wasn't it showing? The black-robed elder asked, "Is there a problem with the dragon blood sphere?" The green-haired elder beside him frowned. It's impossible for there to be a problem with the dragon blood sphere. This is the first time I've encountered such a situation. The dignified-looking elder said in a low voice, "There are 2 reasons for this. The first is that the bloodline is either too low grade or too high grade. The second is that the person testing is not from the desolate ancient dragon race." Chapter 2804. Book 1. Chapter 249. The silver-horned elder asked, "What do you think is the case?" The blue-clothed elder thought for a while before saying, "The first possibility is that his bloodline is too weak. It's almost impossible for it not to be detected. If his bloodline is too strong, it would be shocking. What kind of bloodline could the dragon blood orb not be able to detect? The second possibility is that he suddenly appeared in the primal chaos world. I suspected that he wasn't someone from the desolate ancient dragon race, but he has the desolate ancient demon dragon bloodline and obtained the demon ancestor dragon's legacy. So I didn't suspect anything." The blue-clothed elder said, I also feel that it's impossible that he isn't someone from the desolate ancient dragon race. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have such a pure bloodline and wouldn't have obtained the demon ancestor dragon's legacy. The dignified-looking elder said, if he's someone from the desolate ancient dragon race, we can eliminate the second possibility. The first possibility is that he's too weak, so his bloodline grade can't be that low. Finally, perhaps his bloodline grade is too high. Just as he finished speaking, the crystal ball turned into a ray of light and shot into the sky. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as the crystal ball exploded, revealing a massive rainbow-colored orb of light. It was like a real sun, giving off intense light that illuminated the entire world. The boundless aura made everyone feel as if they were countless ants looking up at the universe, and their souls were greatly impacted. It wasn't just the ordinary people who looked shocked. Many experts also had similar expressions. Their bloodlines had all submitted to this orb of light. Long Lang and the other geniuses looked at the rainbow-colored sun in shock. Long Voidless had already given them a big blow, but who would have thought that Zhao Fu would be even more terrifying and directly suppress Long Voidless? Long Voidless looked quite confused. He had never thought that Zhao Fu's bloodline grade would be so high. It was so high that even he felt a bit inferior. His bloodline was originally at the peak of the Imperial bloodline, and after awakening the desolate ancient dragon star, it had reached the Saint bloodline, giving him the right to look down on everyone else. However, even his Saint bloodline was inferior to Zhao Fu's and had been completely suppressed. Just how high was Zhao Fu's bloodline grade? The massive orb of light in the sky gradually dissipated and the surroundings returned to normal. Is it the desolate ancient dragon ancestor? This bloodline is at the level of the primordial dragon ancestor. This is too terrifying. He directly crushed Void Dragon. I thought that Void Dragon's bloodline level was terrifying enough, but who would have thought that Zhao Fu would be even more terrifying? This is the highest level of bloodline in the history of the desolate ancient dragon clan. How can this young master Mo Long have such a high-level bloodline? Most importantly, he hasn't awakened the ancient desolate dragon star yet. With such a high-grade bloodline, awakening the ancient desolate dragon star is inevitable. And I think that if he doesn't awaken this time, he will definitely awaken when he becomes the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race. Then, the young master of the demon dragon race might be the strongest expert of the desolate ancient dragon race. I feel that he is the son of the primordial ancestral dragon. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to possess such a high-grade bloodline. That's impossible. If he's the son of the primordial dragon ancestor, how many years has he lived for? More importantly, he only has the bloodline of the demon dragon and no other bloodlines. This means that he is not a direct descendant. Can anyone explain why the young master of the demon dragon race has the same bloodline rank as the dragon progenitor? The experts of the dragon race all had looks of shock on their faces. They now understood the grade of Zhao Fu's bloodline. Even Void, who had a divine bloodline, had been suppressed, so Zhao Fu's bloodline must be above the divine bloodline. That was the source bloodline. Moreover, it was not an ordinary source bloodline. Ordinary source bloodlines could not compare to the primordial dragon ancestors. The dignified-looking elder looked at Zhao Fu in shock and said with a trembling voice, "Just who is he?" Now, many experts once again suspected Zhao Fu's identity. Even the demon dragon ancestor did not have such a high-grade bloodline. So how could he, the young master of the demon dragon race, have such a terrifying bloodline? As the most powerful people in the dragon race, even their bloodlines had not reached the divine bloodline. If they did not personally witness it, they definitely would not believe that Zhao Fu had source dragon bloodline. The experts could not guess Zhao Fu's identity. Zhao Fu had already surpassed their imaginations. Such a thing had never happened in the history of the primordial dragon race. And if this news spread, it would shake the entire primordial world. The silver-horned elder said in confusion, "Who would have thought that the demon dragon race would have someone with source dragon bloodline?" The azure-haired elder asked, "This matter is quite important. How should we deal with it?" The black-clothed elder said, "I don't think there's a need for a competition. Let him become the young master of the primordial dragon race. Also, do your best to seal this news. We can't let others know that our race has given birth to someone with source dragon bloodline." The fire-haired elder nodded. "Ahem. I also don't think there's a need for a competition. Just based on his bloodline, he should become the young master of the primordial dragon race. Just a child of origin appearing caused such a huge commotion. If another source dragon bloodline appears, the primordial world will be even more shaken." The silver-horned elder asked, "Could it be that his appearance has something to do with that child of origin? Too many things have happened recently. The number one evil immortal's descendant has appeared, the child of origin has appeared, and the heaven and lightning son has appeared in the other world. This makes me feel somewhat uneasy." The dignified elder said, "There's no need for us to interfere. He naturally knows his own bloodline grade. He most likely has his own plans for participating in the primordial dragon race's young master selection." The azure-haired elder nodded. I never thought that we would have underestimated him. We'll leave everything to him. We won't interfere at all." The silver-horned elder looked at Zhao Fu and Dragon Void as he said, "With such a high-grade bloodline, he's not any weaker than Dragon Void's primordial dragon star. Now, let's see if Dragon Void can use the primordial dragon star's power to suppress the demon dragon race's young master." Boom! A massive explosion sounded out, interrupting the countless people's conversations. At the center of the stage, countless rays of light shot out. The final selection had begun. After the first test of dragon power and the second test of bloodline, the dragon race's young masters all had the qualifications to become the primordial dragon race's young masters. The third test was to determine who would become the primordial dragon race's young master. Zhao Fu understood that some of his identity had been exposed, so he did not want to waste any more time. He calmly said to the dragon race's young masters, "All of you, come at me together." Even though his tone was calm, it contained an invincible domineering aura that made everyone instinctively feel a trace of fear. The dragon race's young masters' expressions were quite unsightly. Facing such arrogant words, they did not feel angry. Instead, they felt even more nervous and fearful. To them, Zhao Fu was simply too terrifying. Dragon Void looked at Zhao Fu solemnly, and he did not feel as confident. In fact, he was not even sure if he could defeat Zhao Fu. Apex. Chapter 2805. Book 1, Chapter 250. Dragon Emblem said, "I admit defeat. In the past, Long Huanling had wanted to become the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race, and had made plans for it. However, there had been a major accident, and that accident was Zhao Fu. The strength and potential that Zhao Fu had displayed made her lose all hope of becoming the young master. Now, she did not want to fight, which was why she did not join the others. Void Dragon retreated to the side. He did not want to join the others. Zhao Fu looked at Long Huanling and said, "I want a part of your desolate ancient god dragon legacy's power. I will repay you in the future." Long Huanling nodded. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed, and countless traces of black dragon chi wrapped around Long Huanling's body. Long Huanling's body gave off large amounts of white light, and a powerful dragon power spread out. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand. Roar! A dragon's roar sounded out as a white dragon image was pulled out. It struggled to escape, but it was still pulled into Zhao Fu's body by that power. Long Huanling's face was pale as she lay on the ground. Her aura was weak. Zhao Fu closed his eyes and absorbed this desolate ancient god dragon power, and his body gave off a white light. There was also a powerful aura. Everyone was shocked. Although they were from the same clan, it was extremely difficult for them to absorb the inheritance of another clan. It was practically impossible. However, Zhao Fu had done it easily. Everyone was curious about what terrifying abilities Zhao Fu had. After absorbing the desolate ancient god dragon power, Zhao Fu looked at the remaining young masters. Boom! Zhao Fu gave off a massive aura as he appeared in front of Long Lang. His hand was covered in black dragon chi as he grabbed towards Long Lang. Long Lang was greatly shocked and punched out with all his strength, bringing out countless purple lightning arcs. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as Long Lang was forced back by 10 or so meters. He only stopped when his feet touched the ground, and he looked at Zhao Fu seriously. The other young masters hurriedly scattered. Lung Tuo shouted, "Everyone, attack with all your might. Don't hesitate." Everyone understood how terrifying Zhao Fu was, so they immediately unleashed their full strength. Otherwise, they might not even have the strength to fight back. Long Tuo's body gave off large amounts of thick yellow aura. Long Feng's body gave off large amounts of sharp green aura. Long Qifeng's body gave off large amounts of cold air, and the ground beneath her feet started to freeze. Long Yin's body gave off flames, giving off a high temperature. All the young lords released their powerful auras and charged towards Zhao Fu from all directions. Zhao Fu stood where he was and smiled contemptuously. Roar! A massive dragon's roar sounded out as a black aura flame burst forth from Zhao Fu's body. His cloak fluttered and a shocking black shockwave spread out, causing the ground to crack. Many young masters who rushed over were pushed back by this black shockwave. Long Lang's body gave off large amounts of purple lightning arcs as he leapt into the sky. The lightning arcs on his fist formed a dragon head made of purple lightning, and he rushed toward Zhao Fu. He arrived in front of Zhao Fu and punched out with all his strength, seeming as if lightning could destroy gods and demons. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed Long Lang's fist. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as terrifying purple lightning arcs wreaked havoc around Zhao Fu, causing the ground to crack as a terrifying lightning aura spread out. Even though this attack was terrifying, it did not cause any damage to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu grabbed Long Lang's hand and pulled him back. Long Lang was given a big fright and immediately activated his defenses, causing many bolts of lightning to block in front of him. Bang! Zhao Fu punched Long Lang's stomach, sending him flying more than 100 meters away and causing him to cough up a large mouthful of blood. Long Yi suddenly appeared beside Zhao Fu, his palm giving off a large amount of metallic light as he slashed towards Zhao Fu like a blade of light. Zhao Fu vigorously waved his other hand, sending out a black ray of light that slammed into the saber of light, shattering it. Zhao Fu then twisted his body and kicked the dragon, descending away. Long Yi pressed his hands against the ground, causing a massive wave of energy to spread out. A few dragon claws made of mud stretched out from the ground and grabbed onto Zhao Fu's legs. Long Qifeng stood by the side and sent out a palm, causing a massive wave of cold air to surge towards Zhao Fu, causing the ground to freeze. Long Yinyi stood by the side and sent out a palm at the same time. A massive wave of flames ferociously surged toward Zhao Fu, causing the ground to be charred black due to the high temperature. The cold air and flames simultaneously hit Zhao Fu from both sides, inundating Zhao Fu's body. The collision of heat and cold gave off a shocking aura, causing white smoke to rise up. However, this was not the end. Long Feng pressed his palms together, and a massive wind spun around Zhao Fu, fusing the cold air and flames into it. It formed an ice and fire vortex, giving off monstrous power as it attacked Zhao Fu. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a terrifying black energy exploded out, blasting away the massive ice and fire vortex. The massive ice, fire, and wind power quickly sent Long Feng, and Long Yinyi flying back. Zhao Fu stood in the middle and was not injured at all. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. He was simply too powerful. Even if all of them attacked together, they would not have an advantage. Long Qinghong half squatted on the ground, and one of her hands turned into a green dragon claw. She grabbed at the ground, causing massive trees to grow up around Zhao Fu, and their trunks vigorously smashed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu waved his hand, sending out a massive black arc of light that instantly cut down the trees. In the next second, Zhao Fu's body appeared in front of Long Qinghong, and he grabbed Long Qinghong's head with one hand, looking like a demon dragon's claw grabbing on a Long Qinghong's head. Long Qinghong immediately exploded out with power to resist. His body gave off an intense green light, and countless sharp roots grew out of the ground, stabbing toward Zhao Fu. Boom! A massive wave of power exploded out from Zhao Fu's body, and that shocking power pressed down on the tree roots. The massive power caused the tree roots to shatter and fly in all directions. Zhao Fu grabbed Long Qinghong's head, causing a pained expression to appear on Long Qinghong's face. Long Huiling hurriedly cried out, "Don't hurt him!" Zhao Fu looked at her and raised his hand, drawing out a green dragon from Long Qinghong's body and absorbing it into his body. Long Qinghong seemed to have been heavily injured, and his aura became incredibly weak. He did not have the strength to continue fighting. He was the first young lord of the dragon race to be defeated by Zhao Fu. Swish! Zhao Fu's body immediately disappeared and appeared in front of the timid Long Sui. Long Sui looked at Zhao Fu in fear and immediately said, "Don't attack me. I'll hand over my legacy power." Zhao Fu gave a trace of smile and grabbed at the air. A blue water dragon was drawn out of Long Sui's body and flew into Zhao Fu's body. Long Sui also became weak and did not have the strength to continue fighting. Chapter 28:06. Book 1. 251. He was the second young lord to be defeated by Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's sharp gaze looked towards Long Lang. Long Lang's expression fell, and his body exploded out with a large amount of lightning, covering the surrounding 10 or so meters. The lightning caused the ground to crack open, giving off a massive sound. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and countless traces of black dragon chi formed a black dragon sword in front of his palm, giving off a shocking power. Xing! Zhao Fu pushed out with his hand, and the black dragon sword flew towards Long Lang. It left behind an afterimage, and it seemed unstoppable. Boom! Long Lang controlled the lightning around him to slash towards the incoming dragon sword, but they were instantly dispersed by the sword energy, and the dragon sword continued to fly towards Long Lang. Long Lang immediately dragon formed, turning into a dragon man and giving off a powerful aura. Bang! Even though he had turned into a dragon man, Long Lang was still sent flying, and he coughed up a large mouthful of blood. However, he was not weak, and his constitution was quite powerful, so he still had the strength to fight. Long Tuo's hands turned into dragon claws, and he vigorously slammed them against the ground as he shouted, "Earth Dragon Prison!" The ground started to tremble, and stone pillars stretched out with Zhao Fu at the center, forming a circle. There were 8 stone pillars with dragons carved on them, and a massive gravitational force pressed down on Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu looked at Long Tuo and twisted his body. He easily broke free from the gravitational force. Long Tuo pressed his hands against the ground again. Rumble, 12 stone pillars once again stretched out with Zhao Fu at the center, forming a second stone pillar circle outside the first one. The gravitational force became even stronger, pressing down on Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu forcefully took a step forward. He once again broke free from the gravitational force. Long Tuo's expression was unsightly, and an even greater aura flame ignited around his body. He pressed against the ground with all his strength, and a massive wave of power spread out. Rumble! A massive explosion sounded out as 24 stone pillars with dragons engraved on them stretched out, forming a third ring of stone pillars. An even more terrifying pressure weighed down on Zhao Fu's body, causing the air to seem to freeze. The dragon descendant flew into the sky and gave off boundless metallic light, turning into a massive metallic dragon saber. It gave off massive power as it slashed towards Zhao Fu, who was at the center of the stone pillar. It seemed to be able to destroy the ground, and its power was incredibly terrifying. One of Zhao Fu's hands turned into a black dragon claw as he punched the ground. A powerful force instantly spread out, causing the ground within a radius of several hundred meters to shatter. The gravitational force that was pressing down on Zhao Fu's body also instantly dissipated. At this time, the dragon descendant turned into a huge dragon blade and chopped down towards Zhao Fu from the sky. A huge wave of black dragon chi surged out from Zhao Fu's body, forming a huge black semicircle cover, blocking the incoming dragon saber. Roar! Long Lang gave off a massive dragon roar as his body gave off countless traces of purple lightning, forming an enormous ball of lightning. It gave off a destructive aura that could cause people's hairs to stand on end. Boom! The ball of lightning flew toward Zhao Fu and caused a massive explosion, causing countless massive arcs of lightning to strike the defensive barrier. Long Qifeng and Long Yini opened their mouths and breathed out massive flames and icy currents, attacking toward Zhao Fu. The dragon descendant stretched out a hand, causing countless shattered boulders to fly up, bringing with them waves of power as they shot toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's body was inundated by the attacks. Massive sounds continuously sounded out, and the terrifying aura caused people to feel despair. The young masters continuously attacked, hoping that they could injure Zhao Fu. After a while, the young masters stopped to catch their breath. They had used up a large amount of energy in their attacks. The light mist dissipated, revealing Zhao Fu's body, but he was not injured at all. The young masters' expressions became quite unsightly. They had not been able to injure Zhao Fu even after going all out with their attacks. Long Sui inwardly rejoiced. Even though it was shameful to admit defeat, this demon dragon young master was an undefeatable existence, and stubbornly staying to fight was an idiotic action. Long Qinghong's expression was serious. He had personally experienced Zhao Fu's power, and he had already developed a trace of fear toward Zhao Fu. Long Huiling's expression did not change, as if he had already expected this. Long Shiwu seriously observed Zhao Fu, wanting to understand Zhao Fu better before the final battle. Long Yini's expression was unsightly as she looked at Long Qifeng and called out, "Let's use our final move." Long Qifeng nodded seriously. Roar! Roar! Two massive dragon roars sounded out as Long Yini turned into a massive fire dragon, while Long Qifeng turned into a massive ice dragon, hovering in the sky. The fire dragon gave off massive flames, causing half of the ancestral dragon cave to turn fiery red. The immense heat seemed to be able to melt steel, and the people in the distance could feel this heat, causing their bodies to continuously sweat. The ice dragon gave off large amounts of chilling aura, causing half of the ancestral dragon cave to become ice red. Countless traces of chilling aura covered the ground, and the people in the distance were affected, causing them to shiver. The two dragons formed two worlds, one of which was a world of fire and the other of which was a world of ice. The auras of ice and fire caused people to feel terror, and their bodies became uncomfortable under the hot and cold auras. This scene was quite shocking. Boom! The fire dragon and ice dragon brought with them the power of the two worlds as they smashed toward Zhao Fu. Everything in the surroundings collapsed, and it seemed as if it was going to destroy the heavens and earth. It was incredibly terrifying, and a shocking shockwave spread out. Zhao Fu stretched out his hands, and they gave off countless traces of black demonic chi, which turned into two demon dragons that quickly grew and rushed towards the fire dragon and ice dragon. The ice dragon and fire dragon charged towards the demon dragon, and they charged towards the two demon dragons with immense power. The two demon dragons ferociously gave off large amounts of demonic chi and shot towards the fire and ice dragons. They were like two demon dragon spears as they shot into the fire and ice worlds and bit the fire and ice dragons, causing the two dragons to howl in pain. The demon dragon that bit the ice dragon and fire dragon wantonly devoured their power. The ice dragon and fire dragon struggled in pain, but they could not break free. Their power continued to weaken, and finally, the ice dragon and fire dragon disappeared. The ice dragon and fire dragon fell from the sky, smashing two large craters in the ground. Their legacy power had been absorbed by Zhao Fu, and their bodies had been quite injured. Now, they did not even have the strength to crawl on the ground. Blood flowed from the corners of their mouths, and they looked at Zhao Fu in fear. If it wasn't for Zhao Fu holding back, they would have been devoured alive. This young Lord Demon Dragon was simply too abnormal, and they were not a match for him at all. Even if they worked together, it would be useless. Now, 2 more dragons had been defeated, and there were only 4 left. Zhao Fu gave a faint smile as he looked at the remaining 4 people. The 4 people's expressions were quite unsightly, and they did not dare to make the first move. Now, there were only 4 of them, and it seemed that they had no hope of defeating Zhao Fu. Chapter 28:07. Book 1. Chapter 252. Roar, 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 roar. For massive dragons, roars sounded out as the 4 of them turned into 4 massive divine dragons. One gave off many violet arcs of lightning. One gave off a large amount of earth-colored aura. One gave off an azure wind, and one gave off a metallic light. For powerful auras wreaked havoc on the battlefield, making everyone feel as if they were standing in front of an abyss, causing them to feel terror. Boom! The lightning dragon opened its mouth and spat out a massive pillar of lightning, which gave off a terrifying aura as it blasted towards Zhao Fu incredibly quickly. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and turned it into a demon dragon claw. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as the massive pillar of lightning smashed into Zhao Fu's hand with shocking power. Arcs of lightning spread out around Zhao Fu, lighting up the surroundings. Zhao Fu blocked the lightning dragon's attack with a single hand. Boom! The earth dragon gave off immense power as it suddenly smashed toward Zhao Fu. Its terrifying power could collapse a large mountain. Zhao Fu vigorously punched out, bringing with it a ferocious force. Bang! The fist and earth dragon collided, causing a massive gale to blow out. The ground instantly cracked, and in the end, the massive earth dragon was sent flying. Roar! A massive dragon's roar sounded out as a wind dragon flew into the sky, giving off a large amount of azure light, causing half the sky to turn azure. The surroundings were densely packed with azure wind blades, giving off incredibly sharp auras as they slashed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at the wind blades that covered the heavens and earth as he opened his mouth and shot out a black beam of light, which contained terrifying demon dragon power as it shot towards the countless wind blades. Bang! The azure light barrier was pierced by the black beam of light, and the wind dragon in the sky was sent flying by the black beam of light. The countless azure wind blades turned into an azure aura and dissipated. A metal dragon appeared behind Zhao Fu and raised its massive dragon claw as it slammed toward Zhao Fu. The power it contained could shatter the ground. Zhao Fu raised a hand to cover his head. When the dragon claw struck Zhao Fu's body, the ground beneath Zhao Fu's feet shattered, but Zhao Fu was not injured at all. His body released a large amount of demonic chi and shot towards the metal dragon, turning into a black rope that wrapped around the metal dragon's body. The metal dragon was given a big fright and immediately flew into the sky. However, the black ropes binding him made it so that he could not fly, and he immediately started to struggle. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a condescending smile as he appeared above the metal dragon's head and stomped down. Boom! The huge metal dragon was stomped on the ground, creating another huge crater. Countless rocks flew out, and smoke and dust filled the air. Zhao Fu extended his hand and grasped downwards. A massive force pulled out a metallic dragon phantom and absorbed it into his body. That metal was heavily injured, its aura weak as it lay on the ground, without the strength to fight. The remaining 3 dragons looked at Zhao Fu, who was standing on the metal dragon's head, with ugly expressions. Roar! The lightning dragon gave a heaven-shaking roar, and countless bolts of violet lightning appeared, covering the surrounding thousands of meters and giving off terrifying lightning power. The lightning dragon used all of its strength to rush at Zhao Fu. seeming like it was punishing the heavens and earth. Zhao Fu stretched out a dragon claw, which was surrounded by countless traces of demonic qi, and pressed downwards. Boom! A massive demon dragon claw appeared in the air and gave off boundless demonic might as it pressed the lightning dragon's body against the ground. Countless bolts of lightning wreaked havoc, causing cracks to appear in the ground. The lightning power could cause people's hairs to stand on end. Zhao Fu's body leapt up and disappeared, appearing above the lightning dragon's head. The lightning dragon coughed up a mouthful of blood and looked at Zhao Fu with an unwilling expression. Zhao Fu condescendingly laughed and grabbed out with his hand. A lightning dragon phantom was pulled out and fused into Zhao Fu's body. The lightning dragon became weak and no longer had the strength to fight. Zhao Fu's sharp gaze looked at the earth dragon. The earth dragon took a step back in fear, seeming to instinctively do so. Zhao Fu's body turned into an afterimage as he charged at the earth dragon. The earth dragon gave off a large amount of yellow aura in fear, which flooded out in all directions. The ground trembled as a semicircular barrier of earth gave off a powerful and heavy aura. Zhao Fu's body gave off a demonic light and gave off a powerful aura as he quickly shot forwards. Bang! 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 Massive sounds rang out as Zhao Fu shot out like an arrow, quickly piercing through the barriers and causing countless chunks of earth to fly everywhere. Zhao Fu pierced through all of the barriers and appeared in front of the earth dragon. The earth dragon opened its mouth and ferociously bit at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu swung his dragon claw, sending out 5 massive black arcs of light that slashed at the earth dragon's head, forcing it back 3 or 4 steps. The earth dragon still wanted to attack. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed at the air, and a massive force grabbed the earthen dragon. The massive force caused the earthen dragon to feel immense pain, and it roared. Its body violently struggled, but it was unable to break free from that formless hand. Zhao Fu vigorously gripped with his hand, and a yellow dragon phantom came out of the earth dragon's body before being absorbed by Zhao Fu, causing the earth dragon to immediately become powerless. After dealing with this earth dragon, there was still a wind dragon left. Zhao Fu looked at the wind dragon. The wind dragon looked at Zhao Fu in fear. This demon dragon young master was so powerful that it was terrifying. Even the 8 young masters working together would not be a match for him. Zhao Fu prepared to attack. The wind dragon said, "I'm willing to hand over the wind dragon legacy power within my body. There's no need to continue fighting. Now that the situation could not be changed, continuing to fight would only cause humiliation." As such, the wind dragon did not continue to fight. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a satisfied smile and grabbed at the air. The wind dragon felt a suction force pull out his legacy power, and a wind dragon phantom flew out and quickly flew into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu closed his eyes. Now that he had obtained the 8 young masters' legacy power, he needed to properly digest it. Many rainbow-colored lights and streams of dragon power spread out from Zhao Fu's body, and countless people felt a massive pressure. The bloodlines within their bodies started to become afraid, and they all looked shocked. Zhao Fu sensed the massive dragon power within his body and gave a smile. Finally, his gaze fell on Dragon Void's body. Now, he only had his dragon power left. As long as he absorbed his dragon power, even if he did not obtain the Dragon Ancestor's power, he would obtain a power similar to the Dragon Ancestor's power, just much weaker. After all, this was the Dragon Ancestor's power fused from the 11 Bloodlines' legacy power, so there were still some differences between it and the true Dragon Ancestor's power. Facing Zhao Fu's gaze, Dragon Void's expression became serious. Now, it was time to decide who would become the desolate ancient dragon clan's young master. He did not have full confidence in this battle, and the power that Zhao Fu had displayed gave him an unfathomable feeling. Chapter 2808 Book 1, Chapter 253, Battle. Zhao Fu said, "Let's begin." Void nodded. The two of them came to the other side. Because of the battle just now, there was much damage. Everyone became even more excited. They had been looking forward to this battle for a long time, and both of them were incredibly powerful. One had become the master of 10,000 swords, while the other had the desolate ancient dragon star. Both of them would definitely have a world-shaking battle, and no one knew who would become the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. Who do you think will become the desolate dragon young master and lead the entire desolate dragon race? Of course, it's that demon dragon young master. Everyone has seen his strength. Even the 8 young masters combined aren't his match. That's right. I also think that demon dragon young master will become the desolate dragon young master. Not only is he strong, but his bloodline is also terrifyingly high. Is that so? I think that Void will become the dragon young master. He has the desolate dragon star and is blessed by the heavens. Moreover, who has seen Void's strength before? I also think that Void will become the dragon young master. I believe in the power of the desolate dragon star. It is our race's fate star. Perhaps it can suppress demon dragon young master's bloodline. Yes, the desolate dragon star does have the ability to suppress bloodlines. As long as one belongs to the desolate dragon race, he will definitely be suppressed. Now, let's see whether demon dragon young master's bloodline is stronger or Void's desolate dragon star is stronger. Many experts of the dragon race had serious expressions as they looked at Zhao Fu and Void. They were also very interested in this battle. Boom! An explosion sounded out. Zhao Fu understood how strong Void was. He directly released the demon dragon's immense power. A demonic flame ignited on Zhao Fu's body, and terrifying demonic might spread out like a gale. Boom! Void also understood how strong Zhao Fu was. He released the power of a sky dragon. Crystal flames ignited on his body, and a powerful draconic might spread out. The demonic energy emitted by one person covered half of the dragon cave, and there was a faint image of a domineering demonic dragon inside. The crystal dragon energy emitted by another person also covered half of the dragon cave, and there was a faint image of a powerful and noble crystal dragon. 2 terrifying auras collided, causing shockwaves to spread out in all directions. Just the auras that the 2 of them were giving off were enough to cause the surrounding area to tremble. It was several times scarier than the battle between the 8 bloodline young masters. Shio! The sound of the air being torn rang out as Zhao Fu and Dragon Void shot towards each other like 2 streaks of light. Zhao Fu and Dragon Void waved their fists and attacked each other with frightening strength. The dragon race's body was the strongest, so it could be said that this was a battle of physical strength. Bang, bang, bang. Huge explosions sounded out as the terrifying forces continuously collided with each other. The ground around them continuously cracked open, creating large craters. Rocks flew everywhere, and a violent gale wreaked havoc. Bang! Zhao Fu's fist slammed into Void Dragon's chest, causing Void Dragon's body to fly back dozens of meters before stopping. Void stomped on the ground, causing the ground to crack as his body shot towards Zhao Fu like a cannonball. Looking at the incoming Dragon Void, Zhao Fu vigorously punched out, and a black fist energy containing terrifying power blasted towards Dragon Void, causing the ground to continuously crack. Void's fist destroyed the incoming fist energy, and his body continued to speed up. He suddenly disappeared and appeared behind Zhao Fu in the next second. His fists contained immense power as they punched towards Zhao Fu's back, and a crystalline energy flowed out. Zhao Fu's expression fell, and a black dragon inscription barrier immediately appeared, covering Zhao Fu's body. Bang! The black dragon inscription barrier instantly shattered, and the crystalline energy caused Zhao Fu's body to fly backwards, leaving a wide crack in the ground. Zhao Fu waved his hand, destroying that energy, and his body also stopped. Void was somewhat shocked. Such a terrifying attack had not caused much damage to Zhao Fu. This demon dragon young lord's physique was indeed more terrifying than his. Zhao Fu looked at Void, and his gaze became cold. His hands turned into demon dragon claws, and he waved them forwards. 10 black arcs of light containing immense power slashed towards Void. Void stood in his original position, and a crystal wall appeared in front of him. The shocking black arcs of light slashed against the crystal wall, causing it to shatter. Zhao Fu's body appeared behind the crystal wall, and he punched out with all his strength. The terrifying force seemed to be able to destroy everything in its surroundings. Void's other hand turned into a crystalline dragon claw, and he also punched out with all his strength, causing a massive force to surge forwards. Bang! A loud sound rang out, and the two fists collided. The surrounding space cracked, and the terrifying aura caused everyone to tremble. Void took 3 steps back, and Zhao Fu took 2 steps back. Zhao Fu wanted to continue attacking. Void's eyes narrowed, and 2 slender crystalline beams shot toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu immediately dodged to the side, and the crystalline beams landed on the ground, instantly turning it into crystals. Void's eyes looked towards Zhao Fu, and 2 more crystalline beams shot toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu immediately used his defensive barrier to block, and the crystalline beams passed through Zhao Fu's barrier. Not only did the barrier start to crystallize, but Zhao Fu's body also started to crystallize. Zhao Fu could only dodge to the side. Void's eyes shot out 2 more crystalline beams. Zhao Fu opened his mouth, and a black beam of light shot out with immense power. Bang! The 2 of them clashed, causing an explosion, and light scattered in all directions. Zhao Fu's body continued to charge towards Void. Void also opened his mouth and spat out a crystalline energy, causing the ground and space to crystallize at an extremely fast speed. Zhao Fu hurriedly retreated. Void didn't retreat, but instead charged towards Zhao Fu. A dragon claw gave off a crystalline light, and it grabbed towards Zhao Fu's chest. Zhao Fu punched forwards. Bang! A muffled sound rang out, and both of them retreated by 5 or 6 meters. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and demonic energy appeared, turning into a black dragon that quickly grew and charged towards Void. Void didn't move, and he once again spat out a crystalline energy that floated forwards. The surroundings quickly crystallized, and it looked extremely shocking. If an ordinary person didn't even have the chance to react, they would have turned into a crystal statue. The black dragon didn't have any intention of dodging, and its body gave off a large amount of black light as it ferociously charged towards Void. Bang! The black dragon sent Void flying, and it used a black light to block the crystalline energy. Although the surroundings had crystallized, it seemed to have wrapped around the black dragon. Void coughed up a mouthful of blood, and he looked at Zhao Fu with a serious expression. He had to use even greater power to defeat Zhao Fu. Peak. Chapter 2809. Book 1, Chapter 254. Seal. Roar. Dragon Void raised its head and gave a massive roar as a powerful aura spread out. Crystal scales started to grow on its body, and it finally turned into a tall and beautiful crystal dragon person. Zhao Fu quickly rushed towards Dragon Void. Dragon Void grabbed at the air, and the area around Zhao Fu started to crystallize and quickly spread towards Zhao Fu. It was as if there were 2 hemispheres that were about to form. Zhao Fu exploded out with a powerful aura and pushed outwards with both hands, wanting to break free from the crystal ball. Dragon Void grabbed at the air again, and the crystal ball closed with great power, trapping Zhao Fu within it. The crystal ball continued to quickly crystallize and spread towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu released a black dragon inscription barrier and a powerful wave of dragon power, blocking the corrosion of the dragon power. Dragon Void stretched out its claws and suddenly raised them upwards. The massive crystal ball flew into the sky and gave off an intense crystal light. Bang! The crystal ball violently exploded, and a shocking power spread out, causing countless crystals to shoot in all directions. Zhao Fu was slightly injured, and he stood in the sky. Dragon Void looked at Zhao Fu in the sky seriously. This was only a light injury? Zhao Fu, who was standing in the sky, slapped down toward Dragon Void with a dragon claw, and a massive wave of black dragon power covered the sky as it shot towards Dragon Void. Dragon Void's claws tore at the air, tearing apart the black dragon power that covered the sky. However, at that moment, the 5 demon dragon heads gave off terrifying power and rushed towards Dragon Void. It was one of Zhao Fu's arms that had grown 5 dragon heads. Dragon Void did not panic, and a crystalline light shot out from his mouth, bringing with it immense power as it shot towards the 5 dragon heads. Bang! The 2 waves of power collided, and a shocking shockwave spread out. The light continuously smashed into the 5 demon dragon heads, and the 5 demon dragon heads gave off black demonic chi to resist the corrosion of the crystal light. Suddenly, the 5 dragon heads circled around the crystal light and continued to bite at nothingness. Dragon Void punched out a few times, sending the 4 dragon heads flying. However, one of the demon dragon heads managed to bite Dragon Void's leg. Dragon Void's entire body was crystallized, making it abnormally tough. The sharp dragon teeth only managed to bite in a little. Bang! The dragon beast swung its arm and flung Void away. Void's body smashed into the ground, creating a huge crater. Boom, boom, boom. The 5 demon dragon heads opened their mouths, and 5 black beams of light containing massive power shot towards Dragon Void. They were incredibly fast and gave off shocking sounds. Bang, bang, bang. Numerous explosions sounded out as the 5 black beams of light shot onto the ground, causing massive explosions. Countless black rays of light spread out as sand and gravel spread out. But after the ripples spread out, there was no sign of emptiness. Zhao Fu turned his head and saw that Void's dragon claw had become huge and was grabbing towards him with terrifying strength. Roar! A huge black dragon head grew out from Zhao Fu's back and charged towards Long Su with a ferocious aura. Pooh! Dragon Void's dragon claw grabbed onto the black dragon's head, and 5 crystal arcs of light tore the black dragon's head apart. The dragon claw followed the black dragon's body and went for Zhao Fu's back. Zhao Fu's body bowed, and 2 more black dragons grew out from Zhao Fu's back. They brought with them a powerful aura and bit towards Dragon Void from both sides. Dragon Void snorted coldly, and its body emitted a dazzling crystal light. It was like a dragon claw formed from light. It instantly grabbed towards Zhao Fu and tore away the dragon heads. Zhao Fu's back was hit by a huge force, and his body rapidly fell to the ground. Bang! Zhao Fu's body landed heavily on the ground, causing the ground within a 10-meter radius to collapse. In the sky, Dragon Void gave off shocking power as it continued to attack Zhao Fu, leaving behind a crystalline ray of light. Zhao Fu stood up from the ground, and a powerful dragon force spread out. Zhao Fu's entire body turned into a black dragon man. He opened up a dragon claw that gave off an intense black light. Bang! The 2 dragon claws clashed with a powerful force and gave off a loud sound. Both of their bodies flew back more than 10 meters. In the next second, both of their bodies disappeared and reappeared in the middle. Dragon Void's claw clawed towards Zhao Fu's chest. Zhao Fu leaned to the side and punched towards Dragon Void's abdomen. Dragon Void also dodged to the side and avoided Zhao Fu's attack. Dragon Void then swung its dragon tail towards Zhao Fu with a powerful force. Zhao Fu blocked with both hands in front of him, and the crystal dragon tail forced Zhao Fu back 4 or 5 steps. Dragon Void's body continued to pounce towards Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu also rushed up. Dragon Void's claw slammed into Zhao Fu's chest. Zhao Fu allowed it to attack for a while, but he continued to punch with all his strength, which was imbued with dragon force, into Dragon Void's chest. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as Dragon Void was sent flying and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Dragon Void's eyes coldly looked at Zhao Fu, and he wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth as he slammed his claw onto the ground. Swish, swish, swish. Countless sharp crystal spikes shot out from the ground, bringing with them immense force as they shot toward Zhao Fu. They were incredibly fast and covered the surrounding 1,000 meters. Zhao Fu immediately flew into the sky, but the crystal spikes quickly grew and chased after Zhao Fu. Boom! Two crystal rays of light shot out from Dragon Void's eyes, giving off immense power as they shot towards Zhao Fu, bringing with them a gust of wind. At this moment of danger, Zhao Fu spread out his hands, and a demon dragon spiraled around Zhao Fu's body, giving off a powerful demonic might. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the two beams of light and crystal spikes simultaneously hit Zhao Fu, resulting in an intense explosion. Countless rays of light and shards scattered in all directions. Ripples spread out, and the demon dragon next to Zhao Fu dissipated, but Zhao Fu was not injured at all. Zhao Fu looked at Dragon Void, and a shocking demonic aura spread out. Countless demon dragons rushed out from Zhao Fu's body, giving off a ferocious aura as they rushed towards Dragon Void like a massive black river. Dragon Void put his claws together and raised them. Countless crystals condensed into a 6-meter-long crystal sword that gave off a terrifying dragon's power. Boom! The crystal sword slashed forwards, and a massive crystal sword light containing immense power slashed towards the Black River. With a single slash, the Black River was split apart, and everything around it turned into crystals. Suddenly, a huge black dragon sprang out of the ground and swallowed Dragon Nothingness with its huge maw. Everyone was shocked. Dragon Void had been eaten just like that. The black dragon flew in the sky and gave off boundless demonic light and a massive aura as it refined Dragon's Nothingness. Zhao Fu stretched out a dragon claw, increasing the black dragon's power. Chapter 2810. Book 1, Chapter 255. End of Book 1. Within the black dragon's stomach, Dragon Void gave off a crystalline light to protect his body, but the demonic energy continuously corroded him, causing his body to start to turn into a black crystal. Roar! Dragon Nothingness roared out and released all of his power. Countless crystalline lights shot out and pierced through the black dragon's body, causing his stomach to burst open. The black dragon also turned into countless traces of black dragon chi and dissipated. Zhao Fu opened his mouth, and a black beam of light containing immense power shot towards Dragon Void incredibly quickly. Dragon Void also opened his mouth and shot out a crystalline beam of light containing shocking power toward Zhao Fu. Bang! The two beams of light collided in midair, and a massive shockwave spread out like a wild gale. Zhao Fu looked forwards, and the black beam of light in his mouth became even more intense and shot towards Dragon Void with even greater power. Dragon Void's beam of light also became even more intense and gave off shocking power. The two beams of light continuously collided in the sky, and powerful shockwaves spread out, causing the heavens and earth to change color. The winds and clouds swirled, and the terrifying aura caused everyone's bodies to feel as if they had fallen into icy water, causing them to tremble. Bang! In the end, Zhao Fu's power was a bit stronger, and the massive black beam of light hit Dragon Void's body, sending it flying. Dragon Void coughed up a large mouthful of blood, and his body was covered with blood. His injuries were quite severe. Zhao Fu's body rushed towards Dragon Void. Boom! Dragon Void turned into a divine dragon made of crystals, and his body gave off a crystalline light, giving off an incredibly powerful aura. Boom! Dragon Void spat out a massive crystalline beam of light that contained destructive power toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's body gave off boundless demonic light, and a few dragon inscription barriers appeared, protecting Zhao Fu's body. Bang! Zhao Fu's body was sent flying by the beam of light and only stopped after flying quite a distance. A trace of blood leaked out of the corner of his mouth. He had suffered some injuries. The crystal dragon that Dragon Void had turned into quickly rushed toward Zhao Fu, its claws containing terrifying power as they grabbed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu punched forward. Dragon claws collided with dragon claws. Their strength was about the same. The The crystal dragon clawed at Zhao Fu again. Zhao Fu dodged and dodged the claw. The crystal dragon rushed down towards Zhao Fu. The huge dragon head smashed into Zhao Fu's body, knocking Zhao Fu's body down from the sky, creating a crater. The crystal dragon continued to dive downward with a powerful aura. Zhao Fu stood up from the ground, and a huge amount of black demonic qi surged out from Zhao Fu's body. It was like a huge black pillar of qi smashing towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon did not have any intention of dodging. It directly collided with the huge black pillar with a powerful force. The black pillar dispersed with one strike, but the black aura did not dissipate. Instead, it continued to surge towards the crystal dragon's body, forming black ropes that wrapped around the crystal dragon's body. The crystal dragon's expression changed, and it vigorously struggled. Its massive power broke a few of the black ropes, but there were still many that it could not break free from. Zhao Fu gave a cold smile as he raised his hand and pressed down. A massive force pulled the black ropes and smashed the crystal dragon's body down. The crystal dragon smashed into the ground, causing the ground to violently tremble. Countless sand and stones were blasted away like shockwaves, and a massive hole appeared in the ground. Blood flowed out of the crystal dragon's mouth as it madly struggled. It broke free from the black ropes and gave off a powerful aura as it smashed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu also gave off a powerful force as he smashed forwards. Bang! Zhao Fu's body was knocked back by the massive crystal dragon, and the ground continuously cracked. The crystal dragon's power was still quite terrifying. Massive waves of demonic qi flowed out of Zhao Fu's body, forming a massive demon dragon's head, and only then was it able to block the crystal dragon's attack. The crystal dragon vigorously swung its claws, sending out 5 massive arcs of light that ferociously crushed the black dragon's head, causing it to turn into countless traces of black aura and dissipate. The crystal dragon then raised its claws and slammed them towards Zhao Fu with massive power. Zhao Fu quickly dodged to the side, and the crystal dragon's claws slammed into the ground, leaving behind a massive dragon claw print and causing the ground to violently tremble. The crystal dragon raised its other claw and slammed it towards Zhao Fu with great power. Zhao Fu once again dodged, and a few massive demon dragons flew out from Zhao Fu's body, wanting to bite the crystal dragon's body. The crystal dragon roared in pain and flung away the black dragon that was biting it. The black dragon then continued to rush towards dragon nothingness. The crystal dragon spat out a terrifying crystal-colored beam of light that swept to the side. The crystal-colored beam of light was incredibly terrifying, and it instantly split apart the black dragon's bodies. The black dragons turned into countless traces of black aura and dissipated. Bang! At that moment, a massive explosion sounded out as Zhao Fu vigorously punched the crystal dragon's abdomen. The massive power sent the crystal dragon flying into the sky. The crystal dragon opened its mouth in anger and pain, and a crystal-colored beam of light ferociously shot toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu immediately dodged to the side, but the crystal dragon vigorously slammed down with its claws, smashing Zhao Fu into the ground. The ground cracked open, and Zhao Fu coughed up a mouthful of blood. The crystal dragon raised its other dragon claw and slapped down with great force. Zhao Fu did not hesitate, and his body gave off boundless black light as he turned into a massive demon dragon. He gave off powerful dragon power as he sent the crystal dragon flying, resulting in a massive explosion. Seeing that Zhao Fu had also become a demon dragon, the crystal dragon gave off great power as it rushed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu also gave off a powerful aura as he rushed towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon grabbed at Zhao Fu with one claw, and Zhao Fu grabbed at the crystal dragon. The two dragon claws collided, and the crystal dragon bit towards Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu slapped the crystal dragon down with one claw and bit the crystal dragon's body. The crystal dragon struggled with all its might, broke free and smashed into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's dragon claws gave off great power as they grabbed at the crystal dragon's body, sending it flying. He then spat out a black beam of light that shot out with great power, hitting the crystal dragon's body. An explosion sounded out as the crystal dragon was sent flying. The crystal dragon was slightly injured, and it furiously spat out a crystal-colored beam of light that quickly shot toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu dodged to the side, dodging the crystal beam of light. The crystal dragon immediately spat out another beam of light, and Zhao Fu once again dodged. He also spat out a black beam of light that quickly shot towards the crystal dragon, and the crystal dragon also dodged. Both sides continuously spat out black beams of light in the sky. Either the crystal dragon was sent flying by the black beam of light, or the black dragon was sent flying by the crystal beam of light. Overall, the black dragon had a greater advantage, and its injuries were lighter, and its recovery speed was faster than the crystal dragon's. Chapter 28:11. Book 1, Chapter 256, Seal. Boom! The crystal dragon opened its mouth and shot out an enormous crystal-colored beam of light that contained the power of a crystal world, giving off a massive aura. Boom! The black dragon also shot out an enormous black beam of light that contained destructive power as it ferociously shot towards the crystal dragon. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the two beams of light collided in the air, resulting in a terrifying explosion. Countless rays of blinding light blasted out, making it difficult for people to open their eyes. However, the shocking shockwaves were still terrifying. The instant the light dissipated, the black dragon appeared in front of the crystal dragon and gave off a powerful aura as it leapt at the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon was unable to react in time and was bitten by the black dragon. The sharp dragon teeth sank into the crystal dragon's body, causing the crystal dragon to howl in pain and madly bite at the black dragon's body. The black dragon's claws pierced through the crystal dragon's body, causing crystal blood to flow out of the wound. The crystal dragon wanted to use its claws to grab the black dragon, but the black dragon did not give a chance. Its claws grabbed onto the crystal dragon's body and twisted outwards, making it so that the crystal dragon's claws could not reach it. The crystal dragon's claws could not reach the black dragon, so it used its head to bite at the black dragon's body. It gave off crystal light that corroded the black dragon's body, causing the parts of the black dragon's body to start to crystallize. The black dragon ferociously bit the crystal dragon's body and slammed against it, causing it to fall towards the ground. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the two massive dragons heavily crashed to the ground, opening up a large crater and causing many cracks to spread out. The ground violently trembled as countless rocks and sand were blasted out in all directions. After the dust settled, the black dragon was on top of the crystal dragon's body. Blood flowed out of the crystal dragon's mouth, and it seemed as if a few of its bones had been broken. Bang! The black dragon raised its claws and slammed them against the crystal dragon's head, causing the crystal dragon's head to smash into the ground, causing the ground to once again crack open. The black dragon raised its claws and prepared to attack the crystal dragon again. The crystal dragon furiously looked at the black dragon and exploded out with terrifying power, sending Zhao Fu's body flying away. In the sky, a boundless, ancient, desolate, and vast dragon power spread out, unstoppably covering the heavens and earth. Sensing this power, countless desolate ancient dragon race members felt their blood boil and their hearts beat wildly as they looked up into the sky in shock. The sky seemed to freeze as a massive golden star giving off boundless golden light and bringing with it the world's most powerful dragon energy slowly descended from the sky. The heavens and earth seemed to freeze, and all creatures felt suffocated. Even from far away, they could sense this terrifying dragon power. They could also see the golden stars in the sky, flickering with resplendent starlight. The people from the 10,000 Swords City and the various large factions looked at the golden star in the sky with serious expressions. They understood that the primordial dragon race's young lord selection was incredibly intense, and even their fate star had descended. It was a pity that the primordial dragon race refused to allow non-members of the dragon race to enter the ancestral dragon cave. Otherwise, they would have liked to go in and take a look. This was the primordial dragon race's clan star. It was golden, and there seemed to be 11 dragons within it. The power it gave off was incredibly terrifying, but was slightly smaller than the Heaven Awakened World Sovereign Star, and its power and aura were weaker. Everyone was excited. They had been waiting for this moment for a long time. The ancient Desolation Dragon Star that had descended was indeed powerful. Now that Dragon Void had summoned the ancient Desolation Dragon, would the Demon Dragon race's young lord still be a match for it? Dragon Void's body, which was also known as the Crystal Dragon, automatically flew up into the sky and stopped below the Dragon Star. Endless power of the stars poured into Dragon Void's body, instantly healing its injuries. The power it had consumed also recovered quickly, and it even became stronger. Zhao Fu lay on the ground and looked at Dragon Void seriously. The ancient Desolation Dragon Star's descent made Zhao Fu feel a great deal of pressure, and things had become quite difficult to deal with. The Crystal Dragon gave off a massive amount of Dragon Star energy as it flew towards the Demon Dragon. The Demon Dragon vigorously leapt up, giving off a massive amount of dragon energy as it rushed towards the Crystal Dragon. Looking at the Demon Dragon charging over, the Crystal Dragon gave off a trace of condescension. Its power was now far greater than before, and it gave off a massive aura as it rushed over. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as the two dragons collided in the air. The Crystal Dragon did not retreat at all, and the Black Dragon's body retreated to the ground. The Crystal Dragon gave a trace of a smile as it opened its mouth, and a massive crystal light containing immense power shot towards the Demon Dragon on the ground. The Demon Dragon immediately flew to the side, dodging this attack. Boom! The massive crystal light hit the ground, resulting in a massive explosion. The terrifying crystal light blasted open a massive crater in the ground. After dodging the attack, the Demon Dragon opened its mouth and spat out a black ray of light that ferociously shot towards the Crystal Dragon. A crystal semicircle appeared in front of the Crystal Dragon, and when the black ray of light hit the semicircle, it only caused many cracks to appear on the semicircle and was not able to shatter it. Dragon Void gave off a massive wave of power, and the countless crystals in the sky formed massive rhombus-shaped crystals. Each of them was 10 or so meters long and 3 meters wide, and there were 100 or so of them. Boom! 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 The massive rhombus-shaped crystals brought with them waves of powerful force and were incredibly fast as they shot towards the Demon Dragon like a hot knife through butter. The Demon Dragon was unable to dodge so many massive crystals, and it gave off a massive amount of dragon energy. 5 massive black dragon inscription barriers appeared, giving off an incredibly firm aura. Bang! 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 Massive sounds rang out as the crystals at the front smashed into the defensive barriers and shattered, causing many cracks to appear on the defensive barriers. The crystals at the back instantly shattered the defensive barriers, and the crystals landed on the Demon Dragon's body, causing the Black Dragon to roar in pain. The Crystal Dragon grinned. Now that the situation had changed, he was on the stronger side, and he wanted Zhao Fu to suffer the same damage and pain. Boom! The Crystal Dragon gave off a massive aura as it rushed at the Black Dragon, and a terrifying aura flooded towards the Black Dragon like a river. The Demon Dragon furiously looked at the Crystal Dragon and gave off a massive roar as its body gave off a black blood-red flame. Terrifying waves of power flooded out like a black ocean, and the surrounding space seemed to be unable to withstand this power and started to twist. Sensing this power, everyone felt their blood become icy cold, and they felt as if they had fallen into an abyss. Their bodies and souls felt immense terror. The heavens and earth started to change as countless black clouds spread out, giving off powerful ripples that were not any weaker than the desolate ancient dragon star. Countless people looked incredibly shocked. Was this the power of that bloodline? It was not any weaker than the desolate ancient dragon star's star power, and it was incredibly shocking. The crystal dragon, who had been charging over, sensed this immense power, and his expression became serious as he stopped. Peak. Chapter 28:12. Book 1. 257 Boom. The black dragon gave off a massive aura as it ferociously charged at the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon was not to be outdone and also gave off a powerful aura as it charged at the black dragon. Bang! Bang! Sounds rang out as the black dragon's claw slammed against the crystal dragon's body and the crystal dragon's tail slammed against the black dragon's body. The black dragon slammed against the crystal dragon's body, knocking the crystal dragon back. The crystal dragon immediately leapt over and slammed its claw against the black dragon's body. The two dragons intensely fought in the sky, and terrifying auras spread out, causing people to feel fear. Bang! The crystal dragon drew on the desolate ancient dragon star's power and sent Zhao Fu flying like a mountain. The black dragon opened its mouth, and countless traces of black light condensed into a black orb of light, giving off a destructive power. The black dragon stretched out its head and spat out the black orb of light, which quickly flew towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon gave off a powerful aura, and countless crystals formed a massive crystal wall in front of it. Bang! The black orb of light exploded, and the terrifying explosive force caused the crystal wall to explode, but it did not harm the crystal dragon. Suddenly, an even larger black orb of light flew in front of the crystal dragon and exploded. Countless traces of black light spread out, and the crystal dragon was also sent flying by the explosion. The black dragon on the ground once again opened its mouth, and countless traces of black light condensed into a black orb of light that flew towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon furiously swung its claws, and 5 powerful claws slashed forwards, shattering the black orb of light and causing it to dissipate into motes of black light. The black dragon on the ground gave off countless traces of demonic chi and split into 3 massive black dragons. The 3 black dragons ferociously charged at the crystal dragon from 3 different directions. The crystal dragon spat out a massive crystal beam of light that gave off a shocking aura as it tore through the air and pierced through the black dragon's body, causing the black dragon to turn into countless traces of demonic chi and dissipate. Roar! Roar! 2 dragon roars sounded out as the remaining 2 demon dragons leapt in front of the crystal dragon. One bit towards the crystal dragon's throat, while the other bit towards the crystal dragon's abdomen. The crystal dragon swung its tail and sent one of the black dragons flying with a powerful gale. However, the other black dragon bit the crystal dragon's body, and the intense pain caused the crystal dragon to howl. At that moment, the 3rd black dragon bit onto the crystal dragon's body. Roar! The crystal dragon roared towards the sky, and a powerful crystal shockwave spread out, blasting away the 2 black dragons and causing the surrounding space to crystallize. The 2 black dragons that had been blasted away also crystallized, but they immediately opened their mouths, and 2 black beams of light ferociously shot towards the crystal dragon, giving off shocking auras. Bang! The 2 black beams of light hit the crystal dragon's body and sent it flying, causing the crystal dragon to explode out. Crystal dragon coldly looked at the desolate ancient dragon star in the sky. The desolate ancient dragon star gave off a powerful aura, and a thin golden pillar of light landed on crystal dragon's forehead. It was as if something had been opened, and an extremely terrifying power flowed out of crystal dragon's body. A vertical eye appeared on the crystal dragon's forehead, and the surrounding space quickly crystallized. It was as if it had become a crystalline space, looking both beautiful and terrifying. The crystal dragon's vertical eye looked at the two black dragons, and a massive power covered the two black dragons' bodies. One black dragon quickly turned into a crystal. The other black dragon gave off powerful power to resist, but its body quickly crystallized. The black dragon opened its mouth, and countless rays of black light shot out. A massive black hole appeared in front of it and gave off a powerful suction force. It sucked the crystal dragon's power into the black hole, causing the black dragon's body to stop crystallizing. The vertical eye on the crystal dragon's forehead opened, and an even more powerful crystal power flowed forwards. The black hole quickly absorbed the crystal power, but still slowly crystallized. The black dragon's body gave off a large amount of demonic chi as it flew out from the black hole, giving off a powerful aura as it flew towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon's vertical eye immediately looked at the incoming black dragon. The black dragon's surroundings and body started to crystallize, but the black dragon continued to give off a powerful aura as it rushed towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon stopped in the air and opened its vertical eye, causing the black dragon's surroundings to crystallize even faster. More than half of the black dragon's body had become crystal. The black dragon gave off a powerful aura as it continued to rush towards the crystal dragon. In the end, its body completely crystallized. Roar! A massive dragon's roar sounded out as a massive black hole appeared in the sky. A black dragon drilled out and sent the crystal dragon flying with terrifying power. The crystal dragon was sent flying and was slightly injured. Its expression was cold as the vertical eye on its forehead continued to look at the black dragon. The black dragon's surroundings immediately started to crystallize. The black dragon immediately went back into the black hole. The crystal dragon's vertical eye stared at the black hole and quickly turned the black hole into crystal. However, black holes appeared beside the golden dragon, and there were dozens of them. The crystal dragon understood that the black dragon would come out from within, so it immediately gathered a wave of power in the vertical eye on its forehead. Dozens of crystal lights shot out, piercing through the black holes and causing them to all crystallize. Suddenly, an incredibly massive black hole appeared behind a crystal dragon, giving off a massive suction force that sucked the crystal dragon's body down. The crystal dragon's body exploded out with immense power, and its body gave off countless crystal lights. Everything covered by the crystal lights started to crystallize, including the massive black hole, and the suction force gradually weakened. A black hole suddenly appeared beside the crystal dragon, and a black dragon once again drilled out. It opened its mouth, and a massive black light shot at the crystal dragon's body, sending it flying. The crystal dragon immediately counterattacked, and its forehead gave off many crystal lights. A massive crystal ring covered Zhao Fu and gave off a powerful sealing power, making it so that the black dragon could not retreat. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as the crystal dragon sent the black dragon flying with massive power. The massive power caused the black dragon to cough up a mouthful of blood. The crystal dragon continued to rush at the black dragon and clawed at the black dragon's body, opening up 5 gashes. The black dragon's expression was savage as it bit towards the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon immediately looked at the black dragon with its vertical eye, and a massive wave of crystal power corroded the black dragon's body, causing it to crystallize once again. Boom! The black dragon unleashed a powerful force and sent the crystal dragon flying. The crystal dragon also spat out a mouthful of blood and continued to look at the black dragon with its vertical eye. The black dragon's body continued to crystallize. As its body continued to crystallize, the black dragon was also injured. However, ordinary dragon power could not withstand such terrifying crystalline power. The demon dragon opened its mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood emitted a black light and formed watermelon-sized balls that quickly flew towards the crystal dragon. Chapter 28:13. Book 1. 258. The vertical eye on the crystal dragon's forehead gave off an intense crystalline light as it looked at the black dragon. The air around the black dragon quickly became a thick layer of crystals. Swish, swish, swish. Sounds of the air being torn could be heard as the orbs of blood were not affected by the crystallization and quickly shot towards the crystal dragon, leaving behind traces in the air. Chi, chi, chi. The orbs of blood easily pierced through the crystal dragon's tough body, causing crystalline blood to fly everywhere. The crystal dragon looked quite confused as blood leaked out of its mouth. These orbs of blood contained Zhao Fu's essence blood, so they were naturally not affected by the crystallization. They could easily break through the crystal dragon's defenses, and Zhao Fu, who had used his essence blood, would be slightly weaker. Boom! The black dragon opened its mouth, and a massive black ray of light containing immense power shot towards the crystal dragon, bringing with it a gust of wind. A semicircular crystal barrier appeared in front of the crystal dragon, blocking the black ray of light. The black dragon leapt up from the ground, and its massive claws tore apart the barrier that was covered with cracks. Its claws continued towards the crystal dragon, leaving 5 gashes on the crystal dragon's body. The crystal dragon ferociously bit down on the black dragon's body. The black dragon struggled free and spat out another black ray of light, sending the crystal dragon flying. Roar! The furious crystal dragon gave a massive roar as the desolate ancient dragon star in the sky gave off an even more intense golden light, and a massive amount of the desolate ancient dragon star's power entered the crystal dragon's body. A crystalline ray of light shot out from the crystal dragon's vertical eye and quickly shot into the sky, forming a thin pillar of light. At that moment, all creatures in the surrounding 10,000 kilometers felt an extreme sense of terror. Their hair stood on end, and they reacted and prepared to run. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as the thin pillar of light spread out. Everything in the world instantly crystallized, and even time seemed to freeze. The defensive magic formation was immediately activated, and a wave of dragon energy formed a massive wall of light, blocking the crystal light. However, the terrifying power still seeped out, causing some of the people at the front to crystallize. That terrifying power made everyone feel incredibly small and fearful. The light dissipated, and everyone looked ahead in horror. They saw that the area in front of them seemed to have been sealed by a crystal, forming a huge crystal. This power was beyond everyone's imagination. If it weren't for the protective spell formation, everyone present would have been turned into crystals. Dragon Nothingness, who had the support of the ancient dragon star, seemed invincible. Even 100 ordinary dragon race young lords combined might not be a match for him. The crystal dragon hovering in the sky looked coldly at the crystal-sealed black dragon. Normally, a living being sealed like this would immediately die without any chance of survival. Roar! A massive dragon roar sounded out, causing the crystal dragon's expression to change. Everyone looked over and saw a black dragon within the crystal, giving off a large amount of blood-red aura. A terrifying power surged out in all directions, and the blood-red aura seeped into the thick crystal. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the massive crystal shattered and collapsed. The black dragon opened its mouth, and countless traces of blood-red chi condensed into a fist-sized blood-red orb that gave off a pure source energy. It turned into a ray of light and shot towards the crystal dragon in the sky. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the blood-red orb exploded, and the terrifying blood-red energy sent the crystal dragon flying back. This caused many of the crystal dragon's scales to fall off, and it looked quite wretched. The black dragon ferociously looked at the crystal dragon, and its body was bleeding. Boom! The crystal dragon furiously looked at the black dragon. The ancient dragon star's power continuously flowed into the crystal dragon's body, causing its injuries to quickly recover. The power it gave off became more and more terrifying, and it was as if the entire world was afraid of it. The black dragon also gave off large amounts of blood-red chi, which formed a blood-red fog around it. This bloodline power surpassed everything else, and it caused countless creatures to submit. Boom! The crystal dragon gave off an intense crystalline light, and the surrounding space quickly crystallized. It was as if the entire sky had been crystallized, and the crystal dragon gave off the power to crystallize the heavens and earth as it rushed towards Zhao Fu below. Boom! The black dragon also gave off immense power as it rushed towards the sky, seeming to destroy everything. The surrounding blood-red fog followed behind it. Bang! A shocking explosion sounded out as the two dragons clashed together with terrifying power. An enormous orb of light instantly spread out, causing everything to shatter. It was as if nothing could stop this power. The protective wall of light was instantly destroyed, and a terrifying shockwave swept out towards countless people. Countless people defended with all of their might, but some were still sent flying by this power. After a while, the terrifying shockwave subsided, and the people outside looked quite wretched. Their hair and clothes were in disarray, and there was dirt and rocks all around them. A massive crater had appeared on the ground, and the two dragons had disappeared. The ancient dragon star in the sky had also disappeared. Everyone started to guess. That battle was so marvelous. Both of them are so powerful. I wonder who won. Even though I was slightly injured, I feel quite happy. After witnessing such a powerful battle, no matter who it is, they deserve to be the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race. I think so too. Both of them have the right to be the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race. One has the ancient dragon star, while the other has an incredibly powerful bloodline. It's hard to choose between them. I believe that young master Mo Long will win this battle because the desolate ancient dragon star has disappeared. Not necessarily. Look, young master Mo Long has also disappeared. The ancient dragon star is controlled by Dragon Voidless, and since Dragon Voidless is no longer under his control, the ancient dragon star will naturally disappear. I think that Dragon Voidless will win because Dragon Voidless used the ancient dragon star's power to recover, while young master Mo Long's injuries are not light. I support young master Mo Long because he's the lord of 10,000 swords. He can only use dragon force in this battle. If he uses 10,000 swords power, he will definitely win. Long Lang, Long Huiling, and the others had already retreated outside. If they had not retreated, they would have been heavily injured. Looking at the crater in front of them, they had to admit that the two people were far stronger than them. Long Huiling's expression didn't change, as if he had already expected this. Long Lang frowned. He didn't want Zhao Fu to win because the grudge between him and Zhao Fu was even greater. If Zhao Fu became the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race, his days in the future would be even more difficult. Long Tuo sighed inwardly. He originally thought that he had a slight chance of becoming the young master of the desolate ancient dragon race, but the reality was so cruel. With his strength, there was no chance at all. Long Sui had a look of envy on his face. If only he had 1/10 of their strength. Chapter 28:14. Book 1, Chapter 259 Battle. Long Yunyun and the others were completely focused. They hoped that Zhao Fu could win. If Zhao Fu became the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord, not only would his status increase, but the Dragon Palace's status would also rise. Most importantly, they would be able to save Long Wushui at any time. Longya and the others who were fighting with Zhao Fu for the position of Demon Dragon race's young lord felt very complicated. Zhao Fu was much stronger than them, making them feel even more helpless. Some people wanted Zhao Fu to win because he was from the Demon Dragon race, while others did not want Zhao Fu to win. The Dragon race's experts silently watched. No matter who won, they would support them. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as countless rocks and dirt were sent flying. A crystal dragon burrowed out from the ground, its body covered with many wounds. Everyone waited for a while, but when they did not see the other black dragon, they understood that Dragon Void had won. Many people immediately cheered and shouted, their faces full of excitement and agitation. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a black dragon charged out from the crystal dragon's side and slammed its claws onto the golden dragon's head, smashing the crystal dragon to the ground. The black dragon's claws gave off a powerful suction force, absorbing the crystal dragon's legacy power into its body. The crystal dragon was powerless to resist and could only allow the black dragon to absorb its legacy power, causing it to become weaker and weaker. This sudden event caused the surroundings to fall silent. Seeing the crystal dragon powerlessly crawl on the ground, it was confirmed that the black dragon had won. Countless people once again cheered. Zhao Fu had successfully won and become this time's demon dragon race's young lord. Long Yunyun happily jumped up and clapped her hands. Everyone else smiled happily. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would first become the demon dragon race's young lord, then the 10,000 swords master, and now the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. If Long Wushuai knew about this, he would definitely be overjoyed. They believed that Zhao Fu's future achievements would definitely be higher than their master's. Their dragon palace's status in the dragon clan was now the most distinguished. From now on, anyone who saw them would have to be respectful and courteous. A smile finally appeared on Long Huiling's calm face. She had made the right bet this time. After knowing that she had no hope of becoming the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan, she gave up on the idea of becoming the young lord and supported Zhao Fu to become the young lord. She even gave Zhao Fu all kinds of help. Right now, their relationship was very good, and this would be very beneficial in the future because the desolate ancient dragon race would definitely listen to him. Looking at Long Huiling's smile, Long Qinghong finally understood what she was thinking. She sighed and didn't say anything else. Long Lang's expression was unsightly. Before, he didn't want Zhao Fu to become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan, but now that Zhao Fu had become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan, his days would not be good. He wouldn't even be able to resist, and he might even lose his identity as the young lord of the lightning dragon clan. Long Yini smiled. She had lost to Zhao Fu and accepted it wholeheartedly. Now that Zhao Fu had become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan, she became interested in Zhao Fu and planned to understand Zhao Fu in the future. The azure-robed elder smiled as he said, "The result was as we expected. That terrifying bloodline was even more powerful than the desolate ancient dragon star. We also hoped that he would become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan." The silver-horned elder said in surprise, "I'm still quite surprised." He suppressed Long Shuwu's desolate ancient dragon star with his bloodline power, and Long Shuwu's desolate ancient dragon star is also extremely terrifying. It's a pity that he's still lost. The red-haired elder nodded. Yes. In actuality, Long Shu wasn't weak at all, and the desolate ancient dragon star was also extremely powerful. However, they met someone even more powerful. The violet-robed elder asked, "Now that he's become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan, I wonder if it's possible for him to awaken the desolate ancient dragon star. If that's the case, our dragon clan will have 2 desolate ancient dragon stars, which is of great significance to the entire dragon clan." The black-robed elder smiled as he said, "With his bloodline, his potential, and the fact that he's become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan, I think that awakening the desolate ancient dragon star is inevitable." The azure-robed elder also chuckled as he said, "The demon dragon bloodline really has a lot of face now. Such a shocking genius has appeared, and it was given to him for free. I'm so envious." The blue-horned elder sighed. "Out of all the young lords, our young lord is the most useless. It's our water dragon bloodline's fortune that he is 1/10 of the demon dragon bloodline's young lord." The news of Zhao Fu defeating the powerful Long Shiwu and becoming the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan quickly spread. Countless people were greatly shocked. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would have such powerful 10,000 sword force. But his draconic power was also so terrifying. Even with the support of the desolate ancient dragon star, he had still lost. Now, he was the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan and the master of 10,000 swords. Very few people had such exalted statuses. With these two factions supporting him, basically no one dared to offend him. However, for someone to have 3 supreme sword intents and the desolate ancient dragon clan's legacy, his future accomplishments were terrifying. He would definitely be an expert that would shake the entire primordial world. Some people felt that Zhao Fu had a chance of becoming the child of primordial world. Of course, the prerequisite was that he had defeated the child of primordial world. The people of the city of 10,000 swords were not too surprised. They had personally witnessed how powerful Zhao Fu was. It was just that Zhao Fu's relationships had become complicated, and it was impossible for him to become the city lord of 10,000 swords. It was a pity that he had such powerful talent in the way of the sword. No matter what, he was the person who had opened the training of the heart, and the city of 10,000 sword would fully support him. They were also willing to believe that he could make the city of 10,000 swords even more powerful and prosperous. Seventh Swordsman felt quite dispirited. The distance between him and Zhao Fu was growing further and further, and he was unable to catch up. When the women of the Angel Sword Land heard about this, they all smiled. Zhao Fu had not disappointed them and made them feel incredibly proud. With these two statuses, even if they said that they were Zhao Fu's women, no one would say anything. Moreover, Zhao Fu had become the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan and a master of 10,000 swords. The Angel Sword Land would also receive the protection of these two factions, and they would naturally receive many benefits. As Zhao Fu continued to grow, the Angel Sword Land would also receive more and more benefits. Finally, they looked back at Longshu. The dignified elder said, "Now that he has defeated Longshu, let's let him receive the primordial ancient dragon ancestor's legacy." The other elders nodded. The dignified elder and the other elders flew into the sky, giving off a massive aura. The dignified elder looked at Zhao Fu on the ground and said, "I now announce that you are the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan and prepare to receive the primordial ancient dragon ancestor's legacy." Zhao Fu turned back into his human form and smiled as he stood where he was. Longshu also turned back into his human form and retreated far away in disappointment. All of this should have belonged to him, but he had been defeated by Zhao Fu. He had used all of his power to summon the desolate ancient dragon star. He did not feel any dissatisfaction. Instead, he felt a sense of powerlessness. Perhaps the young lord of the Demon Dragon clan was more suited to be the young lord of the desolate ancient dragon clan. Chapter 2815. Book 1, Chapter 260, translated by Hypersheep 325, edited by Mike. Here, the dignified-looking elder stretched out a hand, and a massive wave of dragon power spread out, causing 11 different colored dragon seals to appear on the ground. The primordial dragon ancestor's legacy could only be opened by the leaders of the 11 bloodlines. The 11 dragon seals were in different locations, and Zhao Fu stood at the center of them. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as 11 dragon seals appeared on the ground, and a massive wave of dragon power spread out. The 11 dragon seals gathered towards the center and formed a massive golden dragon seal, and a shocking dragon's might spread out. Boom! An even louder sound rang out as a shocking golden ray of light shot into the sky, and an enormous golden dragon gradually appeared in the sky, giving off boundless golden light. This golden divine dragon was incomparably huge, occupying the entire sky as if it was made of gold. The dragon's body was strong and powerful, and it had 4 thick dragon claws. Its scales were golden and shiny, and it had 3 golden eyes. Its horns were like a crown on its head. It gave off an ancient and boundless dragon power, ruling over this world and making it so that no creature could resist. All of the dragon race's bloodlines seemed to stop flowing, and they instinctively submitted to this massive golden dragon. This was the primordial dragon race's primordial dragon ancestor, the origin of everything. Many of the dragon race were greatly affected, including the leaders of the dragon race. Zhao Fu was less affected because he now had 11 types of dragon power and could be said to be the closest to the primordial dragon ancestor's legacy. Even those far away could sense this massive wave of primordial dragon ancestor's power, and they understood that the new primordial dragon race young master was about to obtain the primordial dragon ancestor's legacy. The golden dragon in the sky looked at Zhao Fu on the ground and gave off a massive aura as it dove down towards Zhao Fu, giving off terrifying ripples. All of the dragon race's members looked quite confused. What was going on? Normally, when the primordial dragon race young master obtained a legacy, the dragon ancestor's third eye would shoot out a legacy beam of light. Why had the dragon ancestor flown down? Everyone could not understand. Boom! A loud sound rang out as the dragon ancestor poured into Zhao Fu's body like a flood. Waves of extremely terrifying dragon power spread out, and Zhao Fu's body gave off a golden light. In the end, the golden dragon completely entered Zhao Fu's body, and the shocking aura disappeared. Everything returned to silence, and Zhao Fu stood there, giving off a golden glow. Under the shocked gazes of countless people, Zhao Fu automatically flew into the sky and turned into a huge demonic dragon, circling in the sky. Boom! It was as if the entire world's power was furiously gathering, pouring into Zhao Fu's body. The ripples grew stronger and stronger, first covering the dragon's domain, then reaching the city of 10,000 swords. In the end, most of the central region of the Chaos world was affected. Sensing this massive ripple, countless powerful factions revealed shocked expressions. What happened? Why was there such a terrifying fluctuation? These ripples are about to cover the center of the primal chaos world, and they're still expanding. This ripple contains primordial dragon power. It should be caused by the primordial dragon race. Primordial dragon race? What kind of earth-shattering event happened to them? I heard some news. It seems the primordial dragon race is currently in the process of selecting a young master. Such terrifying ripples could be related to that. The primordial dragon race is the most powerful dragon race in the chaos world, but they rarely cause such ripples. Something terrifying must have happened. I'm going to go see what's going on. This is definitely no small matter. I'm also curious about what's going on with the primordial dragon race, so I'm going to take a look as well. I don't know why, but I feel a faint sense of unease, as if something terrifying is about to appear. You feel the same way as well? I feel the same way as well. That terrifying feeling makes me feel uneasy. I'm definitely going to see what's causing this feeling. The many experts transformed into rays of light and shot towards the primordial dragon race. They all took this matter very seriously. Countless people sensed powerful auras flying through the air, and they felt fear in their hearts. They understood that many experts were flying towards the primordial dragon race. As more and more experts rushed over, things became even more lively. In the place where the evil dragon was sealed, Long Wushui sensed the shocking ripples, as well as the changes in his bloodline. A grave expression appeared on his face. What had happened to the primordial dragon race? The Shaman Earth. A group of people wearing shaman robes were sitting in a circle on the ground. In the middle of them was a multicolored, ancient-looking turtle shell. It had already cracked open, and it lay quietly on the ground. This was the shaman turtle shell, and it had been nourished by the shaman essence blood. It was extremely rare, and there was no way to raise it now. The current turtle shells were all left behind from the primordial era, and they were bound to the shaman race. If anything terrifying happened to the shaman race, the turtle shell would give them a warning. Every time the shaman turtle gave a warning, the shaman race would avoid huge losses, allowing the shaman race to survive from the primordial era. The shaman race took this warning very seriously, and they didn't dare to be careless. This time, when the turtle gave a warning, the shaman race's various experts immediately gathered. An elderly woman said, Our shaman race is about to face a major change. Have you seen anything from the turtle's shell? The disheveled old man said, No. In the past, we could still get some hints from the turtle's warning, but now there is no hint. This means that this matter is extremely important, and it might affect the entire shaman race. A voluptuous woman said, Just now, a massive ripple came from the distance, and the turtle's shell immediately changed. I think it's related to this matter. The elderly woman asked, Do you know where this ripple came from? The voluptuous woman replied, From the primordial dragon race. Everyone's expressions changed. The primordial dragon race was not weaker than the shaman race. And if this matter was related to the primordial dragon race, things would become very troublesome. They also had some enmity with the primordial dragon race, which was the enmity between Long Wushui and the shaman spirit. Back then, Long Wushui had intruded into the shaman land, causing many losses and casualties. Afterwards, the shaman spirit had personally suppressed and sealed him, and because the shaman spirit had some misgivings about the primordial dragon race, he had not killed Long Wushui. A gentle-looking young man said seriously, I just received very bad news. The evil dragon's legatee has become the primordial dragon race's young master. What? Everyone was greatly shocked. They had not expected this at all. They were also very surprised. Hadn't the evil dragon been sealed? How could there be a legatee? Chapter 28:16. Book 1, Chapter 261. The young man continued to say, Those terrifying ripples were caused by him. Hearing this, everyone felt even more shocked. The elderly woman said with a headache, If that's really the case, then it's quite a headache. No wonder the black turtle warned us. Now that her legatee has become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master, there might be a massive war between our witch race and the desolate ancient dragon race. The disheveled-haired elder nodded seriously. As the legatee of the evil dragon, he will definitely take revenge for his master. Moreover, to be able to become the legatee of the evil dragon, he's definitely a villain who has done all sorts of evil things. It would be a lie to say that he doesn't harm the witch race. A muscular bearded man said seriously, Right now, we can immediately prepare to deal with the desolate ancient dragon race's attack and prevent them from suddenly attacking and catching us off guard. Everyone nodded. A gentle-looking woman said, I wonder if we can resolve the enmity between our two races and avoid this war, such as releasing that sealed evil dragon. The voluptuous woman immediately cried out, No, once that evil dragon is released, it will definitely take revenge on the witch race. Moreover, even if you release it, it won't be grateful at all. The gentle-looking woman replied, But if it becomes the desolate ancient dragon race's young master, it will also undo the seal. Long Wushui will eventually be released. The feminine-looking young man nodded and said, No matter what, the evil dragon will come out. The seal has been gone for so long, and its power has become very weak. With the desolate ancient dragon race's abilities, it should be easy for it to be undone. The reason why they didn't do it before was because they were wary of us. A skinny middle-aged man said, That's right, the desolate ancient dragon race is wary of us, which is why they didn't undo the seal. Otherwise, they would have done so long ago. However, now that the evil dragon has become the desolate ancient dragon race's young master, the entire desolate ancient dragon race has to listen to his orders. The elderly woman said worriedly, Once the war starts, who knows how many people will die? The muscular man said coldly, We don't have to worry. Our witch race is not any weaker than the desolate ancient dragon race. If they want to fight, we'll fight. There's no need to fear them. The feminine-looking young man agreed, We indeed don't need to fear them. Let's prepare for a full-scale battle. The elderly woman sighed and said, It's not that we're afraid of the desolate ancient dragon race, but if our two races fight, both sides will suffer great losses. Millions of witch race people will die, and the witch race will decline. Hearing this, everyone agreed with him. This was the result of the battle between the two races. Boundless power continued to pour into the black dragon's body in the sky. The black dragon continued to circle in the sky, and the power it gave off became more and more terrifying. The surroundings were locked down by this terrifying dragon power, and the countless people present felt intense terror. Many of the experts flying over felt the vast ripples spreading out, and they became more and more shocked. Things seemed to have exceeded their expectations. Roar! A massive dragon's roar sounded out, shaking the entire world. Countless people's expressions changed, and they rushed out to look in the direction of the primordial dragon race. After the black dragon let out a loud dragon roar, its body seemed to start molting. The black dragon scales fell off bit by bit, and the black dragon skin also opened up, revealing the golden dragon skin underneath. An ancient and vast draconic force spread out, drowning everything like an apocalyptic flood. Nothing could stop it. Countless primordial dragon bloodlines and souls submitted to this draconic power. Before receiving the inheritance, the golden dragon had given them this draconic power, and now this feeling was more than 100 times stronger because they were about to face a true primordial dragon. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as boundless golden light illuminated the heavens and earth. The black dragon's skin completely fell off, revealing its golden body. It looked just like the golden dragon from before. It had a powerful body, powerful dragon claws, 3 eyes, and a dragon horn on its head like a crown. It gave off an extremely terrifying draconic power, and it looked like the true ancestor of all dragons. Countless primordial dragon people uncontrollably knelt on the ground. The primordial dragon experts felt their bloodlines submit, and they looked incredibly shocked as their hearts violently thumped. They had never thought that such a thing would happen. Now, Xiaofu no longer had the demon dragon's bloodline, and instead had the true desolate ancient dragon's bloodline. It did not have any impurities, and it was as if it was the desolate ancient dragon ancestor's bloodline. As such, everyone felt that Xiaofu was the dragon ancestor. This was something that had never happened before. In the past, those who had obtained the primordial dragon ancestor's legacy would at most have a trace of the primordial dragon ancestor's bloodline's power. However, now, Xiaofu had completely become the primordial dragon ancestor. Not only was his bloodline the same as the primordial dragon ancestors, but his legacy was also the most complete. He also had the same abilities as the primordial dragon ancestor, and it was possible to say that he was the primordial dragon ancestor's reincarnation. Seeing the boundless golden light and sensing the heaven-toppling draconic power, the experts who had been charging over all stopped and looked incredibly shocked. Even their bloodlines felt afraid. That's origin dragon blood. The primordial world had actually given birth to someone with origin dragon blood. This news was enough to shake the entire primordial world. After all, the origin dragon race was simply too rare and had disappeared for countless years. What was more important was that this origin dragon blood had been born from the primordial world. Even though the experts had never seen this person with origin dragon blood before, they could sense how terrifying he was. From today onwards, the primordial dragon race would welcome its most glorious moment. Sensing this suffocating draconic power, the countless experts in the distance looked incredibly shocked, and their hearts thumped. They had never thought that they would see the birth of someone with origin dragon blood in their lifetime. The shaman world. Everyone's faces were pale as they stared in the direction of the primordial dragon race. They had just been discussing how to deal with the primordial dragon race, and had never thought that the primordial dragon race's young lord would be so shocking and have origin dragon blood. In the history of the primordial dragon race, only the primordial dragon ancestor had pure origin dragon blood. Now, the primordial dragon race's young lord had such pure origin dragon blood. In the future, he would also become a mighty existence like the primordial dragon ancestor. The elderly woman felt terror within her heart and said with a trembling voice, "We've underestimated this matter. It's likely that our shaman race will face extinction." The skinny man's face was pale as he said, "The black tortoiseshell did not give any hints, so it was because of this." This is definitely the greatest calamity our shaman race has ever faced. The voluptuous woman said fearfully, "If we don't deal with this properly, our shaman race will truly perish." Facing such an existence, I feel that there's nothing we can do unless our shaman race also gives birth to someone with origin dragon blood. Chapter 28:17. Book 1, Chapter 262 Seal. The boundless golden light in the sky dissipated and turned back into Zhao Fu's appearance. He did not give off any aura and looked just like an ordinary person, but everyone knew that he was someone with terrifying origin dragon bloodline. The dragon race's experts felt quite surprised. Why had he not awakened the desolate ancient dragon star? With such a powerful bloodline and powerful legacy, as well as the dragon race's massive fate, awakening the desolate ancient dragon star should have been inevitable. So why had he not awakened it? Now that the abnormal signs had disappeared, it definitely could not be awakened. The experts felt quite disappointed. If he had the desolate ancient dragon star and the desolate ancient dragon star, Zhao Fu's potential would be even more terrifying. Zhao Fu flew down from the sky. The dragon race's experts smiled as they went over. Even though Zhao Fu had not awakened the desolate ancient dragon star, they were already satisfied with the origin dragon bloodline. The dignified-looking elder chuckled as he said, "How do you feel?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Very good." The dignified-looking elder smiled as he said, "Your bloodline is now comparable to the desolate ancient dragon ancestor's bloodline, and I believe that you won't be any weaker than the desolate ancient dragon ancestor in the future. Our dragon race is willing to take you as our leader and listen to all your arrangements." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "There's no need. I just need a title." The dignified-looking elder smiled as he said, "That won't do. You're the desolate ancient dragon race's hope. You just need to stay in the desolate ancient dragon race, and we'll do our best to help you grow. Right now, it's not suitable for you to go around." Seeing that these leaders were determined not to let him leave, Zhao Fu decided that he could only leave stealthily, so he replied, "I know." The dignified-looking elder laughed as he called out, "Let's celebrate for 9 days. Congratulations to young Lord Demon Dragon for becoming the young lord of the entire dragon race." Everyone immediately started to cheer, and countless people had smiles on their faces. This matter was indeed worth celebrating. Young Lord Demon Dragon had inherited everything from the desolate ancient dragon ancestor and was perhaps the most powerful young lord in history. With him, the desolate ancient dragon race would become different. Boom, 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 waves of powerful auras surged over as people appeared in the sky. There were many of them, and they were all experts from various places. There were people from the city of 10,000 swords, as well as people from the fairy sword land. The gazes of countless experts landed on Zhao Fu. Since such a big thing had happened to the desolate ancient dragon race, they naturally had to come and take a look. They were also curious about what kind of person the person who possessed the source dragon blood was like. Everyone in the city of 10,000 swords was shocked. They did not expect that not only did Zhao Fu open the 10,000 swords tempering heart for the 3rd time, but his dragon power was also extremely terrifying. Furthermore, he had the origin dragon blood. With the origin dragon blood and the 3 supreme sword intents, he was undefeatable. The Angel Sword Land's people all smiled. They believed that Zhao Fu would become the dragon race's young master when he returned, but they had never thought that Zhao Fu would obtain the origin dragon blood. Now, Zhao Fu's status was far more noble than theirs. In actuality, they did not know that Zhao Fu already had the desolate ancient dragon blood, which was why he could easily obtain the origin dragon blood. Back then, the golden dragon had entered Zhao Fu's body and instantly devoured the 11 legacy powers. A massive wave of ancestral dragon power had exploded out, changing Zhao Fu's legacy and bloodline, allowing Zhao Fu to leave the demon dragon bloodline and become a desolate ancient dragon ancestor's bloodline. If Zhao Fu did not have the origin dragon bloodline, he would at most have obtained some origin dragon blood. He definitely would not have such pure origin dragon blood. The dignified-looking elder frowned and said, "Why have you all come to the desolate ancient dragon race?" A muscular big man loudly laughed as he said, "We've come to congratulate your dragon race for obtaining the origin dragon blood." The chubby woman chuckled as she said, "Congratulations, congratulations. With this origin dragon blood, your desolate ancient dragon race might become the most powerful race in the primal chaos world in the future. We're quite envious." The green-clothed elder laughed as he said, "Being the most powerful race in the primal chaos world is a bit of an exaggeration, but there will definitely be one in the top 3. The desolate ancient dragon race will become prosperous in the future. I can't help but feel envious." The pretty-looking woman smiled as she said, "With this origin dragon blood, he has the qualifications to become a primal chaos child. Perhaps he will become a primal chaos child in the future." Hearing these words, the dignified-looking elder gave a trace of smile as he said, "Since you've come to congratulate our race, please join in the celebration." The various experts nodded and descended. With such an origin dragon blood, the desolate ancient dragon race would definitely become incredibly terrifying in the future. If everyone wanted to have a good relationship with the desolate ancient dragon race, there would definitely be many benefits. The celebration lasted for 9 days, and the entire desolate ancient dragon race was incredibly lively. People continuously came to offer their congratulations, and everyone in the world was discussing this matter. It could be said that this was the biggest matter in the desolate ancient world, and even the heaven-awakened world heard that someone with the origin dragon blood had been born in the primal chaos world. After the banquet concluded, the various chiefs came to find Zhao Fu. The dignified-looking elder smiled as he said, "We've made a decision. Even though your master has caused a lot of trouble, she's still a member of the desolate ancient dragon race, and with a legatee like you, we've decided to undo the seal and release her." Zhao Fu felt quite startled. If that evil dragon was released, he would be in trouble, so he immediately said, "There's no need for that. My master has done many evil things and deserves to be punished. Moreover, the seal will be automatically undone in 100 years, so there's no need to trouble the various chiefs." The various chiefs all looked quite confused. They had thought that Zhao Fu would be quite happy, and they had never thought that he would not let them undo the seal. The dignified-looking elder thought about it. Right now, they all treated Zhao Fu as their leader, and it was because of Zhao Fu that they were willing to undo Long Wushui's seal. They did not want Long Wushui to cause trouble everywhere. Right now, the desolate ancient dragon race needed to rest and wait for Zhao Fu to become a dragon celestial. The dignified-looking elder smiled as he said, "All right, I'll leave this to you. I'll leave this to you. Also, if you want to undo your master's seal, you can let us know at any time." Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded. The dignified-looking elder smiled as he said, "There's something else we need to discuss with you." Zhao Fu felt strange as he asked, "What is it?" The dignified-looking elder smiled as he said, "We want you to marry some of our dragon race's women." The other chiefs also smiled as they looked at Zhao Fu. This was their true goal. Zhao Fu now had origin dragon blood, which would be passed down. His children would also have origin dragon blood, just that it would not be pure origin dragon blood. However, it was still origin dragon blood, which was incredibly important to the desolate ancient dragon race. It could allow the desolate ancient dragon race to have a few more shocking geniuses. Zhao Fu thought about it before smiling as he said, "Sure." The various chiefs all felt at ease, and the dignified-looking elders said, "They're the most outstanding women in our race, and they're waiting outside. We'll immediately call them in for you to take a look." This scene made it seem as if the various chiefs were brothels, which was quite amusing. These were all terrifying experts, and the dignified-looking elder was a half-step celestial. Chapter 28:18. Book 1, Chapter 263:11. Beautiful women walked in. They were the most outstanding women in the 11 clans, and only they could give birth to Zhao Fu's children. Among them were some of Zhao Fu's acquaintances, such as the divine dragon young Master Long Wheeling. She stood there calmly, and her identity and talent were both shocking. However, she had been brought here because she was the most likely woman to give birth to a son. Apart from her, there was also the Ice Dragon Young Master Long Qifeng, the Fire Dragon Young Master Long Yini, and Long Qingzhu, who had fought with Zhao Fu over the Demon Dragon Young Master. Zhao Fu did not know the remaining 7 women. The one with the flirtatious aura was called Long Xiaoqing. The well-built woman was called Ani Long. The quiet woman was called Long Xiangxiang. The cold-looking woman was called Long Xianru. The tall and alluring woman was called Long Yu. The androgynous-looking woman was called Long Yuye, and the gentle woman was called Long Roshui. Their expressions were all different. Some were excited and interested in Zhao Fu, while others had cold expressions because they had been forced to come. The dignified elder smiled as he asked, "What do you think? If you're not satisfied, we'll pick some more for you." Zhao Fu looked at the women and smiled in satisfaction as he said, "No need. I'm very satisfied." The dignified elder smiled as he said, "If there's nothing else, we'll be leaving." After the clan leaders left, Zhao Fu looked at Long Huiling and said, "If you're not willing, I won't force you. I'll talk to the other clan leaders." Long Huiling had helped him before, so Zhao Fu did not want to force her. Long Huiling looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Are you interested in me?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Of course." Long Huiling nodded. Seeing this, Zhao Fu did not say anything else. As for the others, Zhao Fu did not ask. A day later, the women's faces were red as they leaned against Zhao Fu. Looking at Zhao Fu's perfect face, Long Huiling smiled as she said, "I never thought that you'd look like this." Long Yini also smiled as she said, "With this face of yours, I wonder how many women will fall for you." Zhao Fu chuckled. "I'm about to leave this place." Long Huiling asked in surprise, "Haven't you been staying in the Dragonland? The various clan leaders also requested us to give birth to your children as soon as possible." Zhao Fu teased, "I still have a lot of things to take care of, so I can't stay in the dragon territory forever. As for whether or not I can have children, I'm not sure, but I've tried my best." Long Huiling blushed and patted Zhao Fu lightly. Long Qifeng looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "What are you going to do? We come back." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "I can't tell you about it. I should be back, but I don't know how long it will take." Long Huiling said softly, "Can you take me with you?" Long Yini also said, "I will also follow you." Zhao Fu smiled apologetically and said, "I'm sorry. I can't take you with me, so it's better for you to stay in the dragon's territory than with me. Also, I've left some dragon essence power in your bodies, and as long as you slowly absorb it, it'll be of great help to you." Hearing this, the women did not insist. Long Huiling's face was red as she hugged Zhao Fu and said, "Then you need to properly compensate us." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded, and the room fell into chaos. A few days later, Long Yunyun and the others came to find Zhao Fu and asked when Zhao Fu would undo the seal and release Long Wushui. However, Zhao Fu gave all sorts of excuses and said that he would do his best to save Long Wushui. Of course, that was impossible. Zhao Fu could not release Long Wushui right now, as it would be too troublesome. After dealing with the matters in the dragon race, Zhao Fu planned to take Ericina and the others to stealthily leave the dragon's territory. However, he found that there were higher beings standing guard nearby. Now that Zhao Fu was the most important person in the primordial dragon race, the various chiefs did not want anything to happen to Zhao Fu, so they sent higher beings to guard the dragon palace. This made it impossible for Zhao Fu to take so many people with him. In the end, he could only leave Ericina and the others here and wait for Zhao Fu to take care of things before taking them away. Zhao Fu used the Shaman Spirit Mask and Celestial Concealment Medallion to easily avoid the higher being's senses and stealthily left the dragon's territory. Zhao Fu's next target was the Shaman Land. He had said that after dealing with the dragon race, he would head there. The Shaman Land's faction was not any weaker than the primordial dragon race and 10,000 Sword City, and his legacy would be of great help to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu felt that he was getting closer and closer to the outer world's supreme Emperor Star. Zhao Fu's stealthy departure almost caused a massive commotion in the dragon race, and the various chiefs hurried to the Dragon Palace. In the Dragon Palace, Zhao Fu had left behind a message to explain why he had left. Only then did nothing happen, or else the entire primordial dragon race would madly search for Zhao Fu. Now, Zhao Fu was the primordial dragon race's supreme treasure, and they could not allow anything to happen to him. The various chiefs hid this information and acted as if Zhao Fu had always been in the dragon's territory in order to prevent others from harming Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu flew towards the shaman land. It felt quite good to be by himself, and he felt quite relaxed. If he brought so many women with him, it would be quite troublesome. After flying for a while, Zhao Fu found an alliance city to rest. The people here were discussing his matters, but there was nothing they could do about it. The matter of the origin dragon bloodline was simply too important. Zhao Fu smiled and did not bother with them. But Zhao Fu heard that some strange things had happened here. Some people had strangely died, and their essence blood had been sucked dry. There was even a coin-sized hole between their eyebrows. Most importantly, these people had all knelt on the ground with their hands clasped together in front of their chests, looking like they were praying. No one could figure out the reason for this, and some people guessed that it was some sort of evil being causing trouble. Others said that it was an evil god, but before things were clear, everyone tried to avoid going out at night. Zhao Fu was just passing by and did not pay too much attention to this matter. At night, Zhao Fu had a good meal and took a bath. He planned to rest for the night and continue on his way the next day. However, just as Zhao Fu was sleeping, a strange aura seeped in from outside, causing Zhao Fu's hairs to stand on end. Zhao Fu immediately came back to his senses and looked quite helpless. He hadn't wanted to get involved in this matter, as he had just been passing by. However, now that the evil creature had come, Zhao Fu had no choice but to get involved. Looking out the window, Zhao Fu said, "Come out." The thing was given a big fright and immediately fled. Zhao Fu leisurely walked out of the house and saw a large mass of blood chi fleeing. There was not just one of these masses of blood chi, but 10 or so of them. The auras they gave off were quite strange, and they could disappear and hide at any time. If it was an ordinary person, they would not be able to discover these masses of blood chi, but Zhao Fu was simply too powerful, and these masses of blood chi could not hide at all. What is this? Zhao Fu curiously flew towards one of the masses of blood chi. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.